All right. We are here today on this day of February the 2nd.
Man, it's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been a week, 2 weeks,
It's- Time
three
has definitely
weeks.
passed.
Time has gone by too fast. How you been?
It's been pretty good, man.
Okay, that's good. What did you do during your time?
uh, I guess number one, The Last of Us. Um,
Hmm.
I think last time we talked, I said no, that's dumb. Why would I watch it? Something like along those lines, like that.
Yeah, you were like, I hate
Uh,
Neil Druckmann, and I was like, whoa, bro, that's strong
well,
words. You're
my
like,
brother was
uh,
talking about it, and then he brought up again. I think I said this last time, but I just can't remember. He had brought up that the show was unrealistic because people were contracting the virus through spores or bitten by plant zombies. And he was like, "This isn't real." And I'm like, "Zombies aren't real." So it's just like,
did your
okay,
brother play the PS3 game?
no, he doesn't play
Oh,
video games.
okay. Because I was about to say, like, that's the exact, like,
The extent of my brother's like knowledge of video games is a little bit of Final Fantasy and mostly Mario Kart.
wow, but
So,
he's able to accept Final Fantasy, but not this zombie game.
bro, listen, he would say like I guess like a lot of people like when they see like live action stuff, they're like, it's got to be realistic, you know? And I'm just like, movies are meant to be fictitious pieces
Fictitious,
of
yeah.
work.
Especially
Uh,
something based off a video game.
yeah. So because he did that, I was like, now I'm gonna go watch it because like,
Hmm.
fuck you. This game won. The game is really good.
Yeah.
Um, whatever, however people feel about the second one, I don't care. But so I watched it. I watched episode 1 and 2. I'm halfway through 3. Sorry, the internet ruined 3 for me. And people are complaining about 3. I'm not gonna get into any of this because I know you're
I
probably gonna watch it.
I know a little bit of like the whole thing that's going on about like episode 3 specifically. Like they
You
made
wanna? Yeah, go ahead.
from what I know, because I haven't watched it, I know the first
Mhm.
episode's free on YouTube right now, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Um
That's really smart of them, actually.
yeah. But I who is it? Is Bill and Frank?
Yeah, so it's
The controversy with that for some reason that like they're gay. They're
Nick Offerman.
yeah, Nick Offerman.
Yeah, so I think it has more to be like I think people don't want Nick Offerman himself to be gay. I haven't really like read into this, but that's what I would take away from this because Nick Offerman's such a manly man.
But he's an actor.
Right, but
Yeah.
you have to remember like
Is it because of his portrayal in Parks
people
and Recreation?
so yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff since that. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of like portrayals he's done, so I'm assuming he brings kind of that character from that show to almost everything he does now cuz it's kind of like
Hmm.
typecast basically.
Yeah.
Also, he like really does woodworking and all these actual things that he did in the show. So
Hmm.
like, I think like people just consider him like
A
this
man.
like um
A man.
well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like he can't be gay, and it's like,
But I
but
kind
he can.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying is that like he can. He's an actor. He and
He's
especially
portraying a different character in each thing.
exactly, and I don't think he wants to be typecasted anymore. He wants to break out of his like general like roles that he's in. I'm assuming.
It, it might not even be that. Like, I don't even care if it's just for money. Like the dude's just trying to do his job.
Job, yeah.
It was good, in my personal opinion, because where I got to, they're like eating dinner at some point, and that's where I got to, and I'm just like, it doesn't seem bad. He seems like he's in a bad situation, which is true. The whole world is, and like, it's good, man. Honestly, just watch it. You'll
Yeah.
see.
Watch it for the gays.
Um, I'm trying to think what else. I've watched a lot of stuff. I just can't. Again, I haven't written anything down, so
Okay.
uh,
You played anything?
Destiny, League of Legends, a lot of my go-to type of things. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
um, I tried fixing my Guitar Hero guitar because for
Oh.
Christmas, I had gotten soldering equipment. I had gotten
Mm-hmm.
multiple screwdrivers and stuff, like different heads and stuff. what are they called? Attachments, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, to open everything from a laptop to a PC to a TV, all that stuff. So I popped open my Guitar Hero guitar because it wasn't syncing. Found out it's a fuse. Pulled the fuse out, but burnt the board at the same time that I was pulling the fuse off of because I
Yeah.
don't know how to solder. So I was
Okay.
like, just
Shit.
doing what I thought I needed to do, and
Uh-huh.
then I went to go turn it on, and the uh now the power didn't work. The power worked before, so I was like,
Mm.
oh, weird. So then I looked at the power, where the power, like I think it's called a battery pack, is what they call it.
Mhm.
I had accidentally pulled a wire off of that, so I resoldered the wires. First, I had to strip the wires. Then I resoldered the wires to the battery pack. Then I put my batteries in. Didn't turn on, but the batteries were heating up too heavily. They were overheating, like
Mm.
ready to like maybe catch fire,
Yeah.
explode, or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck it probably explode. So I pulled them out quickly, and I just looked at it, and I was like, "Cool, I broke this." And then I have another Guitar Hero guitar though that still works, and I tried using that one, and the strum doesn't work. So
Mm.
I pulled that apart, and remember that BW 100, I think it is, or 800, whatever, that I told you about a while ago.
Yeah, the liquid that you just dunk in and it cleans everything.
Yeah. So I looked up like what I would need to fix it if I need a new piece, and it's like a 10 cent like strum piece. So I took the BW 100 and sprayed it inside that thing real quick, and it now works. So I was
Okay.
like, I fixed one, I broke the other, and now I have pieces in case I need to ever take a piece off and solder another one.
I thought I
It
thought
happens.
I thought you were gonna say that like as you were playing Guitar Hero, like you get to fight through the fires and the flames, and as you're doing like the really like cool uh guitar solo, it starts to smoke.
Yeah,
It just adds the effect.
that'd be pretty
That'd be pretty
gnarly
cool.
and scary at the same time. The only reason I know not to play, and I mean, like, obviously something gets hot, out, you stop. But like,
Yeah.
the big reason I know not to fuck with batteries is because when I used to vape, we would use these metal tube vapes. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a name for them. Maybe mods or something. Anyways, you would push with your pinky or any other finger on the bottom of the vape. It
Mhm.
would push the battery up. That way, it would be connecting the bottom and the top to the coil, and it would heat the coil. So the battery would heat the coil by doing that, and then um, you would inhale and then let go, and it would stop heating up. Now, what happened with those and why those are so dangerous is because a lot of those, the springs would go, or
Ooh.
um, or you would just get it stuck. So the battery would constantly heat itself,
Yeah.
and you would now have an explosive in your pocket. Now, this has happened where people have exploded like fingies off. They've exploded in their
Wait,
pocket, and like,
did you just say fingies?
well, it lightens it a little bit, right? Makes it sound not
Yeah,
as bad.
yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Fingies off.
they've had it explode in their pockets and their purse and the
Yeah.
this and the that, and like it was like a big thing coming up. There were like news articles on it when it was happening, and the truth is just don't be dumb, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
But like either way, in like general use, would that still happen?
with those,
Yeah.
it's it's possible, just like anything else, to buy a brand new one and it be bad
Mm.
to the point where it would just do stuff like that. But no, usually it shouldn't do that. Um, but like heavy vapors will use it all the time, and it's gonna break at some point. It's gonna do that type of thing eventually.
Yeah.
That's when like box mods came out, and that had like a battery pack. So the tube you just put it inside of an actual metal tube, so it's a battery in a metal tube.
Mm.
In the big mod, the box mods, they were actual like battery placement to put it in that had like the up down, plus sign up and minus sign down, whatever, and then you would put a cover on it, right?
Yeah.
So you and it had a motherboard telling it like regulating how hot it should be when the battery's being used and not being used, right? So the other one didn't. It was just mechanical. The other one actually, and then the box mod had not mechanical things. It had like actual like intelligence on like what to do. Anyways, so I had it in my pocket one time. I went to go grab it out of my pocket, uh, burned my hand and went ow. Took the entire mod, unscrewed it as fast as I could and threw the battery underneath. I was like in like a shop, right? And I threw the battery underneath like some carts because I was like, if it explodes, it's not exploding on me. I was like, it's gonna go explode like near those
In the
carts or
carts.
something. Yeah. I waited like maybe 5 minutes. It didn't do anything. I picked it up and threw it in the trash and walked. I threw
Fucking
my
hell.
my vape mod in there too because I was like, I'm just gonna go buy a new one.
Yeah, I guess.
uh yeah. So like anything like battery related, if it's ever overheating and stuff like that,
Hmm.
you should always just like
Throw it out.
never fucking trust like be like, oh, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. 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 I mean that makes sense. Especially like what is it when like your charger for your laptop, if you see like the what is it, the power brick itself like bloated?
Yep.
Yeah, like that kind of shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That tends to happen with those like cheaper ones you can find online. And I'm not
Hmm.
people would say like Chinese ones, but it's like if there's any manufacturer that makes a bad charger is
Yeah.
anything that's like cheap, like if you can get it for like a couple dollars, it's usually not a good idea.
Yeah, it's usually just better to try to get the if you're able to find like the main
Name
brand
brand.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Guitar Hero.
yeah, after getting Guitar Hero, the after getting one of the guitars to work, I started playing. I have Rock Band 1 and 2. I played both of those. I got my Guitar Hero 3 out, which has Fire in the Flames on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, I can't play that song, so I played everything else. And then it's so hard, dude. I
It
even did it
is.
on easy, and like
It's just the
I
pace.
can do it. It's just not easy.
Yeah,
Uh,
the pace of it is pretty rough.
and then I just found my Guitar Hero World Tour today, so I'm gonna play that later.
Nice. I
Yeah.
had Guitar Hero and I don't know where I put it.
If you still
uh
have your guitar, man, they're worth like maybe a couple
no.
$100 depending.
I think my mom might have thrown them out.
Nah, that is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. It is truly what it is. It
Well, the
sucks.
other thing is, if you ever find the dongles for them, like if you still have those by any chance, those
Those
are
sell.
also still worth like $100 each.
I think that was the case, is that like the reason why I didn't really play with them was because like we lost the dongles somewhere, but I think it's still
Yeah,
in the house. So I'll probably
they're
get to look
all
in.
interchangeable with each other. So
Oh, okay, good to know. Good
yeah.
to know. But I forget what brand we got for the Guitar Heroes with the guitars. It's I don't think they were like the original. I think they were like some other brand of guitars. I don't remember.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about that. That would. I hope there's a company out there that still does that. That'd be great.
They did, like when those things were still like back when they were super popular. But I don't know. I mean, obviously nobody's making peripherals for the Guitar Hero anymore.
I'll be real, dude. If I could figure out how to do it, there's a market still for it. So,
Hey, yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't see why not.
trying to think. I started reading. Uh, oh my god, what is it called?
Is it a comic book or is it a
It's a
book?
book.
Oh,
Oh,
Maze
Kill
Runner.
Order.
Oh, the Maze Runner thing.
Yep, Kill Order.
Okay, how is it?
Yeah, it's
It's bad.
it's slow opening. It's a
Okay.
slow opening only because there's nothing established, so it's like set 74 years later. Um,
Oh, okay. So this is a sequel.
yeah.
Okay.
So like they what do they open with? No, wait, is it 74 years later? I don't know, I can't remember. This one's afterwards though. Or no, wait. Oh my god, hold on a second.
You gotta find out the synopsis. You gotta
No,
read
I
the
can't
back of the
remember.
book.
I can't remember now whether or not it's the beginning. All I know is they said something. No, this is a prequel. This is a prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel.
This it's a prequel. My bad. I'm
Okay.
thinking of There's a book called The Maze Cutter, and Eat Me, and that one's made like 74 years after. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
The Kill Order is uh in the beginning you see the two main characters from the movie. I don't remember their names.
Uh,
Teresa's one of them.
what's his name? Or what's their name?
Teresa's the one name, and the other guy I don't remember.
Donald.
Nope.
Maximus.
Well, they call him Greenie at one point, so I guess you call him that.
All right, cool.
Uh,
But how's the book so far? Like, you're not too far into it, I'm assuming?
I'm like almost halfway.
Oh, okay. And so far?
Trying to think.
I hate
It's
it.
like 50-50. I think like I think I really have to finish it before I like really can like
Give a
take it
full
all in.
opinion. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. That is fair.
It's not bad. There's a lot of like build up in the beginning because you have to like understand who these people are, where they've been, and what they've like seen basically.
So it's a prequel, right?
Mhm.
Is it like any returning characters from the other books, or is it like
They talked about the two in the beginning, but that was more like to establish that like
okay, that they
they were a
existed.
piece
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Established character. Not that I've seen so far now.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know how it goes, because I gotta start that Diablo book again. I only read like one chapter of it.
What's the book you had read or started reading?
I'm still on the first book of the Sin War trilogy.
Yes. Oh my god.
I'm
I
still
love it so much.
I'm still on the first book because I started the first chapter, but then I was like, I kind of want to finish Diablo 2 before I start reading this. Which I'll talk about that in my week. But anything else that happened with you?
I know there's more stuff I watched. I just can't remember.
Can't remember.
Off the top of my head.
Did you watch Puss in Boots?
No, but I remember you talking about like that was good. And,
It's
like I
it's
did
pretty good.
like
It's pretty good.
I did want to
Watch
take
it.
a look at that and all that stuff. Oh, Wu-Tang Clan, season 3
the American
coming
Saga.
out. Yeah,
I
they haven't dropped it yet, but it's coming out.
I haven't seen that show. I have a buddy of mine who I mean, me and him were like we were able to talk about like hip hop and shit like that, but he watched I think the first season and he really liked it, but I had never kept up with it so far. How is the show?
I really like it. I mean, I don't know how much is exaggerated and how much is real, but like, there's a point where the main character kills somebody. Does he kill him or does he shoot him and runs? I think he just shoots him and runs.
Is it Rizzo or is it Method Man? It's somebody. Is it Old Dirty Bastard?
No, I think it's RZA.
Okay. I mean, yeah, they probably
No, it's
kill
not
people.
Method Man. Whoever the kid is, it's like the one that makes the beats for everybody.
RZA.
But like, yeah. Trying to think. Oh, I started watching Ex Machina. I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. I really liked it. I forget. It's the same director that did shit. I can't put my finger on it. Hold on. Ex Machina. How far did you get in it?
Like halfway.
Oh, halfway.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Oscar Isaac? Bald Oscar Isaac doing his dance.
He was in there.
Yeah, he's a scientist guy.
I don't even think I fucking noticed, man.
Wow. Okay. Okay, yes, Alex Garland. He did 28 Days Later, and hold on. 28 Days Later, Men, and Annihilation. Yeah. I just found out now that he is the story supervisor for DMC Devil May Cry. Oh, and he co-wrote Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
The game?
Yes, the games.
Oh no.
I just realized that now. Something I found out now. Weird. Okay. Anyways, we're going to move that off to the side. Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. But you enjoying that Ex Machina?
Yeah, that and The Last of Us is both pretty good. I'm definitely enjoying The Last of Us more.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I gotta watch it. I gotta text my cousin because like um I'm assuming you're finished with your week or
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Because this was part of my week was I finished watching Cowboy Bebop live action with my cousin. I have a lot of problems with that show. Um and it's hilarious too because we as soon as we finished it, literally the next day an article came up from I forget I forget which news site, but basically talking about the creator of the anime saying that he couldn't stomach one scene from the live action series. Uh so I'm like, wow, that's pretty bad. And the hilarious thing is like every episode ended um uh with like a credit to the original creator as like a supervisor for this story. And I'm like, are they sure they asked him for anything? Because if like he couldn't stomach one scene from the live action, where is like where were you getting? What supervision were you getting? Uh, but I think I mean the show's canceled, so it's like it's not getting anything
Yeah.
from it. I don't know if you care to watch it, but do you care to watch Cowboy Bebop live action?
No.
Okay. So let
No
me
offense to you, sorry.
no. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I don't care, bro.
I
um,
don't care, Christ.
so I think I talked about it like last podcast about like we were midway in the series and I had a lot of problems on how they wrote Spike, how they wrote Vicious, a lot of the main characters. The only character I would have to say that was actually pretty all right, but had a bit of a problem was Jet. Uh, Faye was okay. The actress who played Faye, I actually kind of liked. Um, but the actor who played Jet was pretty good. I liked him as Jet. But the thing is, they wrote in this whole thing about him having a daughter, and the daughter acts as like a plot device at a point. At like I think the last episode, she's like a plot device. Even then, in throughout the whole show, he talks about he's trying to get money for his daughter and like trying to like have a good relationship with his ex-wife. And then this is the thing is that like I was watching the anime a little bit, and I was telling my cousins about I was telling my cousin about like the specific like differences that the show was doing. And the show does something I was not expecting and not in a good way. Um so if you don't really know Cowboy Bebop, basically uh the original anime was like very like there was a lot of tomfoolery, a lot of shenanigans, a lot of like dumb bullshit they were doing like per episode, but there would be some episodes that kind of have a main storyline regarding to Spike's past, or a lot of characters like pasts specifically, to give them a little bit more context as to like who they are and how they end up as bounty hunters. Um, so for Spike specifically, he had a love interest by the name of Julia, and Julia never really came into play, like maybe for like a couple episodes to explain Spike's past, and there is eventually a point where Julia and Spike meet again. Um, but the problem with this show is that it tries to stick to a narrative, and that's what Cowboy Bebop never did. Cowboy Bebop didn't necessarily have a narrative. It was just adventures of these bounty hunters doing whatever the fuck in this like super future. Um and the main storyline of the live action series is that Vicious is after Spike because uh Vicious does not want Spike to be alive. He essentially tried to kill Spike in the past. There was a whole thing where Julia was actually Vicious's girlfriend, and then Spike got involved with Julia. There's this whole thing, and then the thing that they actually like did, which I was like, why, was Vicious being married to Julia in this live action series. And then the thing that happens that I was not expecting and was something for the worst was Julia becoming the puppet master over the syndicate. And I was like, why? Why did they write her like this? Because you know the whole situation with Game of Thrones that they wrote the character Daenerys like as like a crazy person like towards the end.
No.
So the character Daenerys, or Khaleesi as some people call her, uh a lot of people had a lot of issues with how she was written, especially towards like the last season. And from what I know is that her motivations start to get really muddled and almost like dictatorish. Like she just turns on a dime, which a lot of people were like, why? Like she was a character that I'm pretty sure a lot of people were rooting for, because obviously from what happened to her in the beginning of the show.
Right.
Yeah. So this was the exact same thing with Julia. In my perspective, that she was a character I wouldn't say I was necessarily rooting for, but she was a character that really wanted to be with Spike again, and like wanted to establish a relationship and get out the relationship she was with Vicious, because Vicious was crazy. Uh, but the at the moment she meets Spike, I was like, oh, they're gonna have a moment, they're gonna have a reconnecting thing, and it's like, no, she's like, you betrayed me because you didn't come and find me because I had to live with this asshole forever. Now I'm gonna shoot you, Spike. And I'm like, what? And then after she shoots Spike, she goes to Vicious and she's like, well, since now you're the boss of the syndicate, I'm gonna be the puppet master now. And like, I'm gonna create the rules because according to syndicate laws, nobody can see the headmaster, or they can only talk to somebody in between. So I'm gonna be the in between person, and I'm gonna make my own rules. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, what is this? Um, but the stinger for the live action series is the character Ed being introduced. And Ed didn't get introduced, I want to say, when did Ed come in? Ed came in like pretty early in the anime, somewhat early. But I had to remember that like this thing was like 10 episodes. And the original anime is like 24. But
Right.
but the problem is that they really wanted another season. Um but I don't think the writing was good. And the problem is that I think I have a bias towards it because obviously I love the source material. I love the original anime. I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece because I think at this point saying Cowboy Bebop is a masterpiece is like something that a lot of people are like, okay, you're getting my hopes up on it too high. And I don't want that. I say it's very, very good. But this particular show has so many, like, you know, that whole ordeal of like doing a remake or doing a retelling of a story. It's like you have the source materials there, but you don't utilize them. And it's bizarre. It's like, I get it, like you want to have a different interpretation, or like you don't want to have it, you don't want to have the retelling or the live action or whatever the fuck to be the exact same thing as the thing it's based off of, but you're also not utilizing a lot of the source material in the best ways possible, because a one thing that I told my cousin, I was like, oh, this kind of sucks, is that there was one particular character by the name of Gren from Cowboy Bebop. Gren in the show was a character that was introduced in like one episode, but he was so interesting, or they were so interesting, uh, because they basically had a past with the bad guy Vicious, and there was a whole thing that basically told was what was it? It was basically an explanation as to like how fucked the future was, because of a war that was going on, and then they were trying out different drugs and different like experimentations on soldiers, and like Gren was the product of that, of him being experimented on during his time in the army. uh but in the live action series, Gren becomes a background character who kind of has some screen time, uh and they never talk about his past. like at all. And I'm like, oh, they're introducing Gren on like episode 3? Like, okay. Uh and the other thing that they kind of like went in a different direction was Faye's backstory. Um that it was okay. Like it was almost the same as the anime, but like they tried to do a little differences with it, which was I thought was okay, but I don't know, like there's a lot of things that the live action series like just missed the mark on. I would have to say, but I just to like reiterate what I said last time, they made Spike like a psycho. They made Vicious look like a buffoon. Julia is also a psycho. Jet is okay, but he's got to stop talking about his daughter. And then Faye is all right. But yeah, they just missed the mark on like a lot of things from the original anime that they could have done well enough, but they just decided not to. And it's crazy to like see that article as well, of like the creator being like, I couldn't watch one scene. Like it was hard to watch. And I'm like, damn. And the that was also the thing, is that like I asked my cousin, I'm like, who is this appealing to? Like, obviously a lot of anime fans are not going to enjoy a live action series because any live action series done by Hollywood has been butchered. Like, the only good one that people talk about is Speed Racer. That's the only one that's actually kind of all right. But everything else has been like butchered by Hollywood. So it's like, who does this appeal to? Because then you have people who don't know Cowboy Bebop is, but you know, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, that it's like it could be a hit or a miss, like most Netflix stuff. Um, but yeah, it's just wild. It's a very very weird live action series. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. Don't watch it. it's like it's like Resident Evil all over again. But yeah, I would still recommend watching the anime because the anime is still good. But that so this was the other thing that I part of the whole thing of like, who is this appealing to? They wanted to appeal to the anime people because the music was being composed by Yoko Kanno, which is the original composer from the original anime. And she's still doing like fucking jazz beats, and they're still, and she did like own like original pieces as well, and they're really good, but the show is not good. So you kind of have that situation of like, oh, there's good music here, just this not great thing that's happening in front of me is also happening. Um, and, you know, like I said, I try to look at the positives with it. Like it's kind of hard to look at the positives with it because of my biases.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like the only thing I watched this week because what I did do with most of my time, bro, what you know about Halo? I know I know I talked about Halo so much.
That it gets pretty boring.
Wow, could you get any more wronger?
Could
Could you? Um so it's been a while since obviously we've done the podcast. So I think last episode I talked about me playing Halo Reach and I was like in the middle of it. Um I finished Halo Reach. I also beat Halo 4 and Halo 5.
Nice.
Yes. So let me ask you a question. When you played Halo, did you ever play it on the legendary difficulty?
Nope.
Okay. I played Reach on legendary and played Halo 5 on legendary. I don't know why I did that to myself. It feels like you're playing against aim bots. It is wild, especially for like Halo Reach, where it felt like every moment I was just getting sniped. And then it was the exact same thing in Halo 5, where it was just like, how the fuck are the CPU so accurate with throwing grenades? And it just drove me nuts. But the only difference is that with Halo 5, it felt a little bit easier because you essentially the appeal of Halo 5 was supposed to be it's supposed to be a squad game. So you can play with like 3 other people. Um and even if you're playing with a computer, they resurrect you. So it's like, okay, it's not too terrible. But then it made me remember that for some reason these fucking games have terrible AI. Your companion AIs are so bad because there'll be
It's not just that game though.
I know it's like most games, but still, like you have 3 other people to rely on, and their AI is so bad. Because like there'll be moments where like, okay, I'm down. One of my companions is literally right next to me. Hey, can you help me? And they don't help me. I'm like, you're just gonna let me die here, and then I just die, and I'm like, oh, all right, I guess this is how this is going now. Um, so yeah, I just to talk about Halo Reach, it was good. I like the whole thing of it being a prequel to obviously the whole thing with Halo. And I think it was Bungie's last game, their last Halo game, before they moved on. So Halo Reach was fun. Even though it was very difficult. It was, and I think the reason why I felt so like good about it is because obviously I beat it in the hardest difficulty. Um, and then I played Halo 4, and this was 343's first Halo game. So this is why I was so curious on playing the rest of the Halo games after Reach, was because a lot of people who play Halo, or a lot of people I guess who are kind of trollish, say that 343 has never made a good game. And I'm like, why do people really dislike 343's like Halos? I kind of get it. I think because of the fact that with Halo 3 being finished and with Bungie being kind of tired of doing Halo, and I think the reason why they didn't want to become the Halo company, and obviously moving on, even though now they're considered to be the Destiny company. Um,
Who?
Bungie.
Who runs Destiny?
Bungie?
PlayStation owns them, bro.
Yeah. So they're the Destiny company now.
Yeah, PlayStation is, right? By like parent company now, they own them, so they run them, right?
Yeah, but
I don't know. I'm just
but
around.
okay. Why you do
I don't know.
this?
I just wanted to point out that Destiny is now owned by PlayStation, and Xbox can't have it anymore.
No, they can't have it anymore. They can't have that sweet, sweet Bungie booty anymore.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So Halo 4 is like gameplay wise, it's actually really interesting what they did. Because I think the reason why I liked Halo 4 was because it's a visual upgrade, obviously. And it's crazy because like most of those, like the 360 was Halo's era, basically. Um but visually it's an upgrade. You get to pilot a fucking mech, which I thought was awesome.
Which game?
In Halo 4.
I might have not beaten that game.
Okay, because you get to pilot like a mech suit called the Mantis. And I was like, oh, this thing is fucking cool. Like this is so cool. Oh, and I also played Halo on normal difficulty because I was like, I'm kind of exhausted of playing on legendary after playing it just once. Um but uh and like man, they designed Cortana in so many ways, and in fucking Halo 4, she just looks naked. Like it's wild. Yep. Cortana just looks naked. And then in Halo 5, they gave her more of like a cyber suit. Um but the criticism I can kind of understand about why people don't like the new 343 Halo is because of the writing. The writing is very clunky. In the sense that Halo, I think at that point becomes a generic sci-fi shooter because there is no more flood. There is no more flood enemies. The flood are gone. So now you have to do something in order to um reach the height of the Flood being the bad guy, and that's what they tried to do with Halo 4, with Halo 4 having the didact, for, I guess, to kind of like talk about some Halo lore, because that's what I was doing a little bit, was looking at Halo lore. Is that the didact is a forerunner, which is the precursor people. But I had a misunderstanding of what what the forerunners were. I thought they were like the beginning of humanity. And then this is where the goofiness comes from, is that essentially the forerunners, humanity was already established. Humanity was already spacefaring, like they already like were like technologically advanced, and they were in a war with the forerunners, but at the same time they were fighting the Flood. Uh and then it leads to a whole thing where the forerunners take away humanity's like past and then basically revert them to cavemen again. And then the
Oh,
whole, it's goofy. It is so goofy. Um but then they talk about the whole thing of the mantle of responsibility, which is essentially the ideal of being responsible for your galaxy, essentially, and taking the leadership of the most technologically advanced being in space. So originally the mantle of responsibility, I think, was humans, but because of them being reverted back to cavemen, the forerunners took it. I could be getting this wrong, just keep this in mind, but regardless, the things that I saw in Halo 4, when it came to its like lore stuff, uh I was kind of like miffed a little bit that like humans got reverted back to cavemen, but at the same time the librarian, the lady who created the Halos, who's also a forerunner, is like, I believe in humanity's like drive, and I believe that they will take the mantle of responsibility again, and they will defeat the Flood. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess. Like, okay.
hmm.
uh and it just like the lore becomes really goofy, but the problem becomes the actual story itself with Master Chief, where essentially it felt like they pulled something out of their ass, but it also relates to Halo lore that um the AI in that world starts to go through a thing called rampancy, which essentially means that it starts to go out of control. So the amount of time that when Halo 3 finished, Master Chief is basically stuck in space floating around. I didn't know that apparently if you finish the game on Legendary, it shows like a little additional cutscene of Master Chief floating around in space and then reaching a planet, and that's how Halo 4 opens up. Um, but the amount of time that Halo man, that Master Chief has been floating around in space, it's been like 4 years later, and the plot is Cortana is going crazy. She's becoming rampant, and Master Chief wants to get her to get fixed as soon as possible. Um, so like I said, Master Chief was floating around in space. He gets into like this weird planet. It turns out that the didact has been there all this time. And the didact wants humanity to be eradicated because they were his enemy in the past. And he doesn't believe that humanity should take the mantle of responsibility. So there's a thing that they also pull out of their ass towards the end of Halo 4, where Cortana just saves Master Chief from being exploded. Uh, and essentially Cortana becomes the bad guy for Halo 5. Um, which I thought was interesting. I thought that aspect was interesting.
The AI has taken over.
Essentially, Halo 5 is Halo Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's also a guy called the Eternal Warden who's just a robot man who like talks down to Master Chief and the other guy, Luke Cage. Because it's the actor who plays Luke Cage is one of the characters that you play as. I think his name is Locke. That's his name. And it's also funny because like the character Locke also has some like lore to Halo, because he was a guy that was originally hired. He originally worked for the space naval people, essentially like space CIA. He was part of Oni, and his task originally was to kill the Arbiter. Like they,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a really neat scene in Halo 5 where Locke, part of Locke's mission is to go and help the Arbiter, and the Arbiter has a moment with him being like, "This is weird. Like I know you were like hired to kill me, bro, like back in the day." And he's like, "Yeah, I know this is weird, but like right now we're not in the circumstances of like trying to kill each other. Like we're trying to help each other." And Arbiter's like, "All right, you're okay with me now." And by the way, Keith David as the fucking Arbiter is, oh my god, I love Keith David's voice. The Arbiter is just so fucking cool. I'm kind of sad that like he just comes by like every so often, but he's doing Arbiter shit, so it's fine. Um, but yeah, essentially Halo 5 becomes Halo Age of Ultron. Uh, Cortana is basically trying to lure Master Chief to help her in her new world order. And then the things that she's summoning is a Forerunner artifact called the Guardians, which are these giant, like almost humanoid like ships. And basically what the Guardians are they are um a deterrence uh to ensure that the person that has the mantle of responsibility uh place a guardian at a planet that might not agree with their ideals and basically keep them in line. So they're essentially a space traveling nuke, which is the point of the Guardians. So Cortana is basically telling Master Chief that like, you know, the Guardians will keep my new world order, like they have a purpose, and you know, she's going crazy essentially. Um but I think that was the interesting aspect of like Halo 5 was that, oh, these created beings, the AI, are essentially the ones deciding that it's time for us to become the sentient being. It's time for us to be the quote unquote good guys.
To go
The good guys.
beyond.
Um yeah, that was neat and that was interesting, but the story gets really clunky in a couple places because of the fact that like Locke Luke Cage is going after Master Chief because Master Chief didn't follow a direct order, so he's basically MIA, and he has to go after him because he's like, you can't do that shit, you're gonna be court-martialed. He's like, I'm gonna take you in, and then towards the end of the game, it's basically Locke being like, okay, Master Chief, I'll help you out, bro, you cool. But as for the game itself, I have a bit of a problem because obviously I was playing on Legendary and I was like, oh fuck, this is really tough. Um it's wild because you would think that this game is like a Destiny clone because of the robots that you're fighting. Uh it just feels weird, and I think that is also the problem, is that they try to make the enemies from Halo 4 called the Prometheans uh as like the new enemy that you're supposed to fight besides the Covenant, because the Covenant still exists, but they're like more fractured. Um, and they're supposed to be there to replace the Flood. So you're just fighting weird robots. The lore thing about them is actually somewhat interesting because essentially what they are. Oh, this was the other thing. So what the original plan was for the Forerunners were to take every living organism and digitalize them essentially and put them in a network, in a digital network. And that was Cortana's plan as well, was to take every living being and put them in a digital network. And that was explained in Halo 4 that the Prometheans, the thing that you're fighting, are what happens if you try to take out a human out from the digital world, like Digimon. They don't come back right. They come back as these things. So they're all fucked up. And the Didac uses them as like a as obviously his army and his force. And then that happens in Halo 5. The lore stuff about them is interesting, but it feels like I felt like I was playing Destiny because I was shooting these like robot things, and I was like, this is so weird. Um, and I think this is the problem of Halo, because I felt like this was the exact same thing with Gears of War as well, where Gears of War tried to start a new trilogy, and Halo 4 tries to start a new trilogy as well. Um, and I don't really dislike Halo. Halo. Yeah, I don't really dislike Halo 4 or Gears of War 4, but it tries to go in a completely different direction because obviously the stuff from before isn't there. Gears is kind of still there, because it's not necessarily the locust, like they're like a locust like in Gears, but in Halo, like I said, you're fighting like these robot things, and then like I was talking about before, the warden Eternal is a fucking guy that you fight like every other time. He becomes a boss, but he's a boss that spawns out enemies, and this was where I was kind of losing my mind playing it on Legendary, because you would kill the enemies and then he would spawn more, and they fucking snipe me when I'm trying to kill this motherfucker. And I thought initially that you had to kill him because he had a big weak spot on his back. Apparently, you don't really have to. You can just shoot him in the face, but you have to shoot him in the face a lot, and you can kind of kill him. But that was basically the tactic, was that if you're playing with like 3 other people, your tactic is aggro him, have one person aggro him, and have the other 3 shoot him in the back, and then keep that thing constantly. But that was the problem, was that my AI team sometimes didn't help out, or the warden, or the whatever the warden spawned out was sniping them, and they would get downed immediately. So there was goofy moments, and also the checkpointing. Oh my god, the checkpointing. Like, I don't mind autosaves, but like the checkpointing shit was like kind of atrocious in some of the Halo games, where it's just like, oh, I made a mistake. Oops, it's my save point now. I'm falling off a cliff. Now that's my save point. Uh yeah. And then you would have to restart the whole mission. But oh, so that was the other thing about Halo Reach. So Halo Reach has some neat ideas, because I think there's also a mission that you're in space, and you use like a spacecraft to shoot enemies. On Legendary mode, that section is the hardest section I've ever played, because of the fact that like you the aggression is towards you and only you, and it's harsh. It is so harsh. I even went on like forums and shit to be like, does this get like any easier? And people were like, no, it's like super hard. And basically there was somebody that put down like a tactic of like what you're supposed to do, and specifically you're supposed to be protecting this like space station, but the cheesing tactic is hide behind the thing you're supposed to protect, so you don't get shot. And it worked. It obviously worked, and I was like, wow, like that's harsh. Um, but yeah, Halo has a bit of a writing issue, specifically towards the 343 stuff. And like I said, I kind of understand where people are getting from, but I don't really understand like the huge criticism behind it, or like when people just say it's straight up bad, because it's like it has neat ideas, not the greatest, but I kind of get from their perspective of like you're trying for something new, um especially with like a really really long running series. But the problem becomes that you can't reach that height that the first Halo had, where initially you thought that it was going to be a space shooter, and then it just becomes fucking a horror game like midway, which I thought was the coolest part about Halo. Um, but that's also the other issue. That's also another thing, is that like you can't keep doing the flood and fucking like Halo 8. You could maybe try making them a little bit more different, but you can't keep doing the exact same thing. You got to go for something different, and that, I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't like, is the shift of that. So yeah, Halo 5 and Halo Reach and Halo 4. So I'm probably gonna be taking a little break from Halo, specifically the first person shooters, because with Infinite, I kind of just want to go in like no problem, and I kind of don't want to like rush through it. Uh, so I'm gonna be playing some Halo Wars now that my interest of like RTSs have come in. Have you played Halo Wars by any chance?
Nah, I don't really have an interest in it.
Wow, you hate the
I like
RTSs,
RTS, but
but you don't like
I don't
that
know.
Halo
If it goes
RTS?
on sale again, I might get it, but
It's on sale right now, isn't it? Or did it stop the sale?
no, the sale should be over.
I mean, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. If it's still there, you have no excuse, bro. If it's
I
Halo
actually do have another excuse, so let's find out.
Wars. Oh my god, would you look at? No, it's actually not on sale anymore.
Alright, cool. So my other excuse was gonna be,
I hate RTSs.
I have so many games to play.
No, I
You
get you.
actually got me the 999 series, and I need
Yeah.
to play that still.
Yeah, that's right, you son of a bitch. That was your birthday present. You play that shit and then come
Ah,
back on
thank
this
you, man.
podcast. Yeah, no, it's all right, man.
I get on the podcast. Yeah, those games were bad.
I hated those. They were anime. I'm like, oh, and then you come back and you're like, Danganronpa's awesome.
You're like, it's the same
It's the
thing.
same shit.
No.
So yeah, I'll probably be playing Halo Wars eventually. The one thing that I'm playing that I finished on stream was Inversion, which is
Yep.
essentially that's fucking Gears of War at home. We have Gears of War at home. Um Inversion's such a weird game, man. It's such a weird game. It's actually not bad, but it's not great. It's a very B tier game. And it's funny because it's done by Saber Interactive and it's published by Bandai or Namco, excuse me. I think before they became Bandai Namco. But it is blatant on what it takes from Gears of War. It is so blatant. I'm surprised they didn't do like the reloading animation of like when you reload, you got to get it. You have like a chance of getting a perfect reload. I'm surprised they didn't do that, but they didn't. But the story is super dumb. Oh my god, it's super dumb. But they have a neat twist. Do you want me to tell you the twist?
They're good.
Okay, so the setup for Inversion is you're being invaded by a force of barbarians. They don't speak clear English, but they speak like weird broken English. But they're coming from the underground, which I was like, holy shit, they just took the locust. Like they just took the locust from Gears, but made them weird barbarian people. But the change up is gravity is like inverting on itself. There we go, inversion. Gravity is essentially inverting on itself, and that becomes a gameplay mechanic is that you're fighting while being suspended in midair because of gravity being so low, and then you having gravity abilities of like you essentially like almost like Dead Space if you have the kinesis stuff.
Stasis.
Stasis, excuse me, or stasis and the telekinesis when you're pulling stuff. Stasis is like freezing down people. But yeah, basically you have those abilities of like taking suspended stuff from low gravity and throwing it at enemies, or what's really cool is getting enemies out of cover using low gravity and basically throwing a low gravity bomb at them, and then they just lift up and then you can shoot them if they're using cover too much. Or if you have like a horde of enemies coming at you, you can use low gravity to either use a force field around you or shoot it at the oncoming enemies and like basically keep them in place and like hold down and then shoot them. And there's also like finishing moves, but like they're basically like the same animations like for well, when you have when you have an enemy suspended, there is a different animation, and then the same thing with when you have them downed is a different animation, but they're if you try them, there's no difference like afterwards. One animation is actually pretty cool when you're behind cover and an enemy is like suspended in air and you call him, you basically like bring him over and do the kill animation. You basically like smash their head on like the cover that you're at, and then like shoot them. I think you shoot them on the ground or like you stomp on them, some shit like that. But I thought like, oh, that's kind of neat. But the story itself is it's like I said, it's very goofy with the barbarians being the bad guys. Um and essentially your call to adventure is that you're a detective guy with his partner that were kind of in the middle of the invasion, and the detective guy is like, "Hey, they kidnapped my daughter. I gotta go save my daughter. They've been taking children to like this other camp somewhere else, so I gotta go find my daughter." And essentially, it's your journey along the way. Um, and then the twist towards the end of the game is that you find out that it's not Earth you're on. You're apparently in like this weird, like you're in a dome world essentially. And there are other dome worlds. So the barbarians that you've been fighting are from a different dome. Because the other thing in the game is that you find these robots and like they look super futuristic and you're like, where the fuck are these coming from? And apparently like they're supposed to be the ones taking care of the dome. And yeah, that's basically the twist, is that like these guys have come over from an invading dome. But I think the reason why they started to invade, it's not very clear cut as to like why they're there. But what I'm assuming is because you see their dome and essentially it's become a lava world. And it's like I think they were going to that. They're coming to that dome because they want better resources and shit like that. Um, Still not explained as to how they got like gravity technology, because that makes no sense. Because that was also part of the mystery as I was guessing. I was like, how do these barbarians have gravity technology? It's so weird. And then the final twist at the end of the game is that apparently your daughter died. And your partner kept that from you the entire time. Your partner found out, but didn't have the heart to tell your main character that your daughter was already dead.
Wow, what a partner!
What a great partner. Uh, it's a very goofy game. It is so goofy. Which is, there's a part of me that kind of wants a sequel. uh, uh, to see like, oh, maybe we can see the other domes in the sequel, but like that shit ain't gonna happen. Fucking, it's a 360 game that I'm pretty sure nobody fucking talks about. But it's not a bad game, and I think the reason why I was enjoying it so much was because I was looking for something to kind of fill in the void of a Gears of War game. And I found it, but I thought about it. I'm like, I might as well just play Gears of War, which I'm probably going to do at some point. So yeah, those are games that I actually finished. The stuff that I'm currently going through now is we talked about Diablo. Yo man, I'm on Act 5.
Hey, you
I
beat Diablo.
I beat Diablo and I used your method of fucking cheesing the portal.
It's not. It's the.
It's
Everyone does it.
cheesing the portal is so disrespectful, but at the same time it's very necessary.
It's literally the only way I
Oh
learned how to play when I was a kid.
Oh my god, it is so fucking necessary because of like the fucking lightning shit that Diablo does against you. But I was so stupid too because I didn't see that there was like a shrine that makes you resistant or like have no fear against fucking lightning. And I was like, "Oh, it was right here the entire time." But I almost got stuck because you're supposed to, you already know this, but like when you have
The shrines are also random.
Yes, okay, so that's fair.
Every time you go into the game, there's a chance there's a new one there.
Okay, so that's
or
fair.
not there at all.
All right. I think that's why I didn't like look at it, because I was like, oh, it's probably a different like random thing. But when when you have to summon Diablo, you have to like go to the different little spots and like activate the summoning thing.
No, I have no idea.
Okay, so you don't know.
Yeah,
I know
Sorry.
you do. No, I know you do.
No, I've never played Diablo. What's Diablo?
Excited for Diablo 4?
Hopefully.
Hopefully it's not a
I
bad
have
game.
it, so I hope it's good.
Yeah, I hope it's good as well.
Did you buy it?
No, I haven't pre-ordered yet because I'm waiting for reviews to see if
Delete everything off your computer right now. Go buy that game.
I don't know. I don't want to just yet. I got to see if it's good or not.
You also better play with me.
What are you playing on, PS5 or?
It's crossplay, kid.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't know, what should I buy it for then? PC or?
I already got it on my PS5 because my computer is not
Oh,
ever
it's not gonna handle
going to handle anything like
the
that.
graphics and the Lilith skins,
Oh god.
her creepy skin dress. Uh
Oh, it's probably already happened, but I'm sure hentai is coming out.
oh, there's probably Rule 34 for Lilith from fucking Diablo. Anyways, uh so yeah, when you're supposed to summon Diablo, enemies like start to come in and like they're stronger versions of enemies. I got stuck because I summoned two things for the for Diablo's fight, and I just got surrounded by really strong enemies, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get out of this. So I just kept like I kept going back and forth of like killing a couple of them, and then eventually I got to the Diablo fight. And then yeah, I had to use the portal to get myself out of certain situations because I'm currently playing as assassin, and I do want to play Diablo 2 again, but with necromancer because obviously that was a character I played in 3. Um, but I realized that like my shadow clone was like getting super killed a lot. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to use the summoning like a lot. Um and yeah, I beat Diablo, and then Act 5 opens up and basically it's like, yo, Bale's still around. Gotta fuck up that motherfucker. And I'm like, yeah, it's time to go beat the shit out of Bale. And
When
then
he
mhm.
when you get to the gate, it's the video at the beginning of
Oh yeah, when he shows up and I'm like, oh, Bale looks rough with his fucking
what does
like
he say? I will take your proposal into consideration. And then he goes and he kills the guy and the guy dies. And then he goes, something, something declined. He said something along the line, your proposal was declined. But it's a
yeah,
very it's a very funny line in my opinion. And
yeah.
just the whole like play out there is like, it's the visual is so good.
Oh my god, the
The
cutscenes look
acting, the
so
voice
amazing.
acting so good, like all that. Like I love that, man.
The cutscenes look visually impressive.
Yeah.
It's almost like the same as like fucking the Halo 2 anniversary like cutscenes. How those look amazing. If you ever seen
Did they
the
redo them?
yeah,
Nice.
they're done by a company called Blur, and like they look incredible. They almost look like they could be just like a CGI movie for Halo 2. But like that is also the thing about this game as well with Resurrected, where like the cutscenes look fantastic. Um, but it's been so long since I played this game, I forgot about Marius. Like I
Oh
genuinely
yeah.
I forgot about the whole thing about him narrating and like him thinking that it's Tyrael. I gotta tell Tyrael about all this other stuff, and then the whole reveal is that he's like of the cloaked figure is like I'm not Tyrael. You are a fool, Marius. You big dummy. And it's like, Bill!
Ball.
Ball. Ball? Is it bail or ball?
It's Bale. It's
Okay. Okay.
Bale. I just said ball because like
Ball. I mean,
uh,
I don't know. Satanus, Lucifer,
uh
Beelzebub. Uh-huh.
just like for your information type of thing.
Is bail
Um
hard?
no, well, yeah,
Oh,
but uh mm,
somewhat.
yeah, you're solo. It's gonna be a little annoying. You'll be fine. Um
I'd be Diablo. I'll be okay.
Diablo 4, they said they're gonna try to, and maybe try is the wrong thing. I think they already said they settled into like the way it's gonna happen, the pace of the game, the game's gonna be portrayed and shit. Diablo 1, you were solo. You were doing everything. You were this hero. You were there to cleanse the town, right?
Mm,
Whatever. Diablo 2, similar, here to cleanse evil.
mm.
Marius was the
The narrator.
cutscene guy. He was the guy following Diablo.
Mhm.
And then he helped Tyrael, right? So Diablo 3 felt not like you were the only guy doing the thing by yourself. It felt very more lighthearted and stuff. Like we've already talked about that, but like they
It's
said in 4, it's going to come back to, so like we're bringing it back to you being the one you having to go through these hardships, and you having to.
Okay.
It's gonna be more of that again.
I'm about to say,
Basically.
I think that's the problem with the art style with Diablo 3 is that like it is very bright, but the dark shit is like still kind of there, but it's not helped with the art style.
Nah, it's definitely more geared towards like the
Casual.
way the game was built.
It's yeah, it was very
Was meant to
casual.
be. Yeah. It's meant for everyone to go play the game, not just like the guys that were playing Diablo 1 and 2.
And that's why I love Diablo 3. Gameplay wise, story wise, I thought it was stupid with the what's her name, Leia.
I mean, I don't mind everyone playing, but like you don't have to change mechanics just for other people to play a game.
I mean, to be fair, on controller it feels pretty good.
No, so like the dodge roll and shit, I don't give a fuck about.
Mhm.
Like that type of stuff is fine. What I'm saying is so Diablo 2, you're playing through it.
Yeah,
You know how you get to put your skill points in. You
yeah.
know how you get to go down a certain path and get your spells. In Diablo 3, you just unlock everything. You have everything. You don't have to make hard choices and choose between things.
Yeah, because that was the thing that I realized when I was doing skill stuff was that like, oh, I put too much points into this one thing, and like I could have put it into a different skill set.
Right. And there is, you can reset your skills, which is fine.
I forget, how do you
Stuff
do
like
that?
you go to Adria, I think.
Oh, over at the rogue camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's somebody in every single that you
Oh,
go to, I think, to be able to do it. Maybe
okay.
you have to go back to her only. I can't remember.
Okay.
But that's like a welcome change. That wasn't in the. I think it actually was like they ended up doing a really big patch like now, like maybe like a couple of years ago, like 2. But anyways, yeah, I just think like they think it's such a high threshold for people to come in and like be able to play that way, like having to read. Is it that fucking hard to read your fucking spells and understand like this one adds to this one and this one adds to this one?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of skimmed over the spells, and I was an idiot for doing that. I admit that I was an idiot for skimming over of like what each spell did, because that kind of led to that whole thing of like having regrets of not putting stuff into a different skill set because I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, this thing does a thing that I thought might be a little bit better because like I was using for assassin, you know how like the ability is that like you have a specific move that you can have like fire orbs around you and then eventually like blast an enemy with fire. So I didn't know like under that is lightning. And I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
I could have just gone for that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of relying on just fire. Because like obviously there are enemies that breathe fire and like I don't think the fire is gonna do well. But then you have the lightning where the lightning does a bigger blast radius and it's like, yeah, should have done that. Um
No,
but
and like it, and when I was a kid, of course, like I never read shit. I kind of just built whatever I wanted to, which is, how it's supposed to be when you're a kid. You fucking don't pay attention to everything. But as the years went on, I read the shit better. I understood. I built appropriately around shit. The same thing with your strength,
mhm,
vitality,
mhm,
dexterity, all that stuff. Like
yeah.
you learn if you're this character, you need dex. If you're this character, you need vitality. If you're this one, you need strength. Blah
Also,
blah 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 blah.
also it made me realize that like you talking about like the like hardships and stuff like that with the mechanics of Diablo 2 specifically is that I realized that like hoarding stuff is not a good idea to do because I think that was also another issue with me was that like I was hoarding stuff that I didn't necessarily need and it came to a point where like I got to sell this shit in order to get better gear because like
Yeah.
that was also the other issue with that Diablo fight was that like I needed stuff to go up against him and like luckily I didn't sell the thing that I didn't skim over, which was an amulet that was like super fire resistant and I'm like, yep. Keeping that shit. But no, and then like getting better gear actually helped with the fight, having like
Yep.
fire resistant stuff. It was the thing that helped me the most. And yeah, Diablo itself is pretty fun and I like I said, I'm still enjoying it. It's crazy to think that like I just put it down for a good bit. I think it was mostly because of that Diablo fight where I was just like struggling with, and then yeah, just using that whole thing of just using the portal to get the fuck out is just use it. That's all it
Um,
was. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, something I never noticed until I think my brother told me something. This is like way back when I first started playing these games. Was when you go from each town to town, like or every act to a new act, a lot of the time it's just better to buy new equipment directly from the vendor and
Mm.
then work your way up from there to new armor, and then you're gonna go to the next act again, just buy new armor
New
because
armor.
it's almost every time you go to a new act, it's like they just have better stuff at the go.
Yeah,
You know?
obviously. I think that's the whole point of just like you are supposed to progress as well, besides like
Right, right.
progressing your
That one
skills and
guy,
shit.
by the way, too, the dude you can gamble with. I can't remember.
Oh, in Act 5?
No.
I mean, there's different people for the gambling thing. Because right now in Act 5, the guy that I can gamble with is this guy that like doesn't want to talk to me. Well, he will still gamble with me, but like he literally as I approached him, he's like, "Oh, an assassin. Uh yeah, you're not needed here." And then I try talking to him again, and he's like, "I don't want to talk to you." And then it still gives me the option of like rolling and doing the gambling.
Yeah, I think Geed is the one in
Oh,
or
and like
something.
what was it, Act 3?
Hmm.
Act 3 Geed was in?
No, I think it's in Act 1.
Oh, in Act 1. Okay. Oh
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
at
no,
the
you're right.
very,
You're right. You're right. Yeah, you're
bottom
right.
left of the screen, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Geed was in Act 1. I remember him.
He might follow you. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know either. Because I'm like no, there's somebody in Act 4 that you can gamble with, but it's not Geed. I think it's a lady.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like I said, Diablo 2 is still. I don't know, something about it. Just like it's fun. It's tough. It can be tough. It's essentially the Dark Souls of Diablo games. Uh, but I don't know, something about it is pretty fun. And yeah, I'll try to beat Diablo and then actually read the Sin War trilogy.
Oh yeah.
I'll try to do that. But yeah, so far stuff I've been playing. I've just been playing that. I also I'm still in the middle of playing Lightning Returns on stream. What a weird game. It's neat, but what a weird game story-wise. Uh Final Fantasy 13's story is a mess. Because of the time travel shit. You remember the whole thing about Final Fantasy 13, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially you have Final Fantasy 13 and that's basically its own setting, but then you have 13.2 which introduces the time travel shit, and then Lightning Returns is basically still has the time travel shit, but it's really really goofy. And then this particular game you don't have a party. It still essentially works as the same system as Final Fantasy 13, where you have different what's it called, character classes and stuff like that you can switch. So with Lightning Returns, you have 3 that you can use, dependent on what you're wearing on your costume. So I don't think you've seen the stream, but I didn't realize that the PC version of Lightning Returns has like a good amount of the DLC from obviously the console version, and I completely forgot that a pre-order bonus for this game was a Lara Croft costume for Lightning, and it acts as one of like the classes in the game. And then another thing was Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. So right now I'm just rocking Cloud and fucking Lara Croft. It is so goofy, but like the weapons themselves are like for Lara, because it's 2013 Tomb Raider, so she has the pickaxe or like the climbing axe thing. Uh, and then obviously with Cloud, it's the Buster Sword, so it's like this really goofy thing of like customize your Lightning, like put little hats on her. Maybe the hats might have like some kind of ability buff. It's so stupid. But the game itself is like it's all right gameplay wise. but the story is so dumb. It is so dumb. And I think another thing why people don't like it is because it's one of those games that has a timer on it, because you're supposed to finish the game, or like you're supposed to do a certain amount of things before time runs out, essentially. Almost like Dead Rising. You know, remember how Dead Rising 1 had like a timer and you
Yeah.
had like 7 days to get out? It's almost the exact
Was it
same.
only the first one or multiple ones?
I
thought
think it's
multiple ones.
I think it's all of them. Yeah, I think it's all
Yeah.
of them
Okay.
so far. But this is essentially what's going on in Lightning Returns, is that you're on a timer and you have to save the world within like 6 days.
Oh no, Majora's Maze.
So this is the stupid thing about Final Fantasy 13, and with specifically 13 Lightning Returns, is Lightning is essentially the messiah. It's her, the whole basis of the of like what's going on is that Lightning has to save humanity, and take their souls, in order for God to create a new world. It is so stupid because literally, like the first hour I was playing, it was so bewildering to hear Lightning saying like, this is all God's plan. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then you have Hope, the little child character, come back and he's like, yes, Lightning, we must do everything for God's plan. And I'm just thinking like, who the fuck wrote this? Drake? uh but it's so goofy. It is so dumb. And one of the things that I thought that I had to like kind of know about was apparently Final Fantasy 13-2 had DLC stuff that kind of hinted towards what was going to be the antagonist for Lightning Returns. And I thought, oh man, I should have played those. And I was thinking of like streaming the DLCs, but the PC version of 13-2 doesn't have them. So only the console versions do. So I have 13-2, and that's how I played it on stream, was through my PS3. But obviously, you're gonna have to pay for money for that. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just look up the YouTube video and see like what it is, because like each DLC episode that kind of hinted towards that was like kind of not worth it. Besides the Lightning one, and essentially it just hints that like this darkness thing is following Lightning around. And that was basically it. So I was like, okay, it's not really worth it. But the thing I forgot about was that 13-2 had licensed costumes for Assassin's Creed and for Mass Effect. It was wild seeing these Final Fantasy anime characters wearing like N7 armor from Mass Effect. It was so weird. Or wearing like Ezio's garb.
It's such a weird like style.
It's so weird, but apparently they because of licensing stuff, they're like not available anymore on PS3.
Yeah, that whole
That
God thing is weird.
Yeah, the whole thing about God and that you have to be God's servant. It's so weird. It's like this weird messiah complex thing that just comes out of nowhere. But the interesting part is that the reason why Lightning is doing this is because of what happened in 13-2, because you play as her sister Sarah, and Sarah dies at the end of 13-2. So Lightning finds out about that in this game, and then basically the reason why she's helping God is because God's like, in the new world, I can resurrect your sister. Are you cutting your nails?
Yeah. Is it loud?
I can hear it.
Oh shit! My mic, man, it's a new mic. I didn't know. Usually you hear that shit on the mic. They're so long, man. I had to get them in at some time.
I'm trying to talk about God's plan here. You're out here cutting your nails.
Yeah, I can do things at once. Go ahead.
It's fine. But yeah, essentially Lightning is like, all right, God, I'll help you out, and you got to resurrect my sister. But the bad guy in Lightning Returns is the darkness that's been following you around in those DLC episodes, that has basically taken the form of your sister. And the darkness thing is like telling Lightning that, like, God doesn't have like true intentions. It's just this thing of like, man, when you think Final Fantasy couldn't go more anime, it went really anime. But I'm just guessing that we're probably gonna have to punch God at some point. Like every other JRPG. Yeah. Excuse me. Lightning Returns is a very weird game. It is very goofy. But what I like about it is that like essentially because of it being on a timer, and I don't really like games on a timer, but the neat part about it is that essentially like you're told that hey, like you have to save people's souls, but you do realize you can't save everyone, so manage your time well. And it's like, okay, I guess it's part of the plot, but still, I don't know how this is gonna work out because like there might be a point where like I might have to go back to an old save and kind of like help myself out. Hopefully, I don't run into a fucking wall at some point in this game. But I was looking on like how long to beat, and apparently I think it's like 48 hours, I think, for lightning returns. Hold on, let me just make sure. Because if I'm still playing that game's gonna be a while. So that's why I'm like looking at other stuff to play at the same time uh with lightning returns. Oh, 33 hours for the main stuff. So that's not too bad. And with extras, 48. So it's not too terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, so inversion was part of that like little thing of like playing something shorter at the same time. And right now I'm looking for another short game. So I'm kind of mixed between two right now. Obviously with Dead Space Remake because that came out and I wanted to see if it ran on my computer well. It runs pretty well. But I haven't fully started it. And this game called Hi-Fi Rush, which is part of our news.
I know you're talking about.
Okay. So I think with that said, I'm trying to think anything else with my week. Oh, I've been kind of like into like car shows. I don't know if you know about the show called Top Gear or the Grand Tour. Essentially, yeah, they're like car shows, but like I'm not really a huge car guy. I do like racing games. But I kind of like watching like clips and videos from like Top Gear because it's just like bunch of dudes trying to fuck around with cars. So I've been watching that. I've been watching a lot of like Mandalore gaming videos and G-Man Lives videos as well. So there's yeah, there's that. And I'm also thinking like because of the fact that like I haven't done a review since like 2 years ago or a year ago now. I kind of want to do another review, but I'm trying to figure out what game to do because I was thinking like, oh, I could do the whole Halo series on one shot, but I'm like, nah, that'll probably be too much. So I'm just trying to commit it to like one specific game to review. So might do game review at some point. Yeah, and that is basically it. Yeah, that's basically it.
Real quick,
Mhm.
I forgot. I watched No Country for Old Men.
Oh man, that's a good movie, right?
It made me kind of angry.
I know.
Just because the bad guy won, and I
Yeah.
was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Yeah, you don't say that enough, though." So it's
Yeah.
kind of good.
Yeah.
But I really,
Yeah,
it's always
because
comes back like as like these people play such good bad guys when you hate them this much because I
Mhm.
hated that guy.
Javier
I was like,
Bardem.
he's literally a psychopath. There's nothing good about this guy, and you're just gonna let him live? And I'm like, no.
So
But it's good. It's good.
yeah, it breaks the traditional norms of like those kind of stories of like, oh, your supposed main character being Josh Brolin being hunted down and like, oh, but like even then, like the Josh Brolin's not a good guy either. So it's like you're not
He's not
really
a bad guy.
huh?
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, but like he just takes the money and like thinks that it's not gonna have any consequences.
Well, to be fair, it's drug money, so who fucking cares?
Yeah, but it's not his drug money, so he's a thief.
Oh no, he's a thief.
He's a thief.
I have the whole like. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I found like
Drug
$5 million in cash from drug money, I would take that shit. Fuck it. Fuck everyone.
Hypothetical, right?
No,
Oh, okay. Just don't tell me when you find drug money.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't tell anybody. You
Okay.
would never see me again.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, either one, I'd be dead, or two, I'd be in.
Javier Bardem will find you. Yeah, it's a very good movie. I think that's why I really like that movie because it just broke like most norms of like specific stories like that of like the what not the bad guy winning. But that movie always comes up with like psychologists like theories and stuff like that of like Javier Bardem's character of like what's going on in his mind and like is he a
Yeah.
real psychopath, and like a lot of like people are like yeah, like he portrays a lot of psychopath like tendencies. So he's like yeah, he's a psychopath.
I did like when she wouldn't let the coin decide her fate.
Yeah, I think that
Was
was
good.
great. She's like no.
She's like, it's you, which is true. It's you. You're deciding.
Yeah, it's I love that. Oh my god, I love that scene so much because it's just a regular lady. It's just a
Mhm.
regular lady, but she's like, no.
And he kills her, and it makes me mad.
Yeah, because he realizes that she kind of like broke him essentially.
Yeah, when the guy calls the coin flip right, I was
Yeah,
like, oh, thank God,
that's
man.
great. That's
But I also didn't think was that Owen Wilson? No, that was
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. He gets the guy to show up on him. Right when I saw the guy had a gun out, I was like, God damn it, they're gonna kill Woody Harrelson. I was so disappointed because I was like, Woody's so fucking cool, man.
Don't do
I
that to
love
Woody.
him. I even outside of being an actor, like out of him like being in a movie, I just enjoy the guy. Like
It's
I like hearing him talk. I like hearing him like just chill, like all that stuff.
it's funny you mention that because I feel the same way about Jack Black. Like there's some reason why like I can't see Jack Black die. Uh because I really like Jack Black as like well, I know he's not like the greatest actor, but like I just like him in
Yeah,
things because he's like a
yeah.
really fun guy. There's this movie that I saw called The Jackal, and
Okay, yeah.
they mutilate the fuck out of Jack Black, and I felt so sad.
I I've heard of the movie. I'm gonna go watch it.
He because I think it's Richard Gere and Bruce Willis.
Oh, you know I love the Will Man.
Yeah, you love the
The
Willis.
Willis man.
This is pre losing memory. Uh
Pre earpieces
yeah,
feeding him lines.
pre
I
having
feel
your
so bad
stunt
for him,
double
man.
be you the entire time. But yeah, like there's a scene where like Jack Black acts he's like a arms dealer and he's showing off like one of the weapons, and I don't remember who the bad guy was. I think it might have been Richard Gere. Or might have
Oh,
been
Richard
Bruce,
Gere.
or it might have been Bruce Willis. Nah, I remember. I
I
think it might
haven't
be.
seen Richard Gere in something in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen mine either. But yeah, he's showing off like this like super sniper rifle gun that's like has like giant bullets, and then like he goes off to like put up one of like the testing dummies, and then he just gets shot with these things, and you just see like his arm just get blown off, and it's just like it's very graphic. But it's Jack Black, and I'm like, oh my god, like why would you do that to Jack Black?
And Jack Black was selling it to him, right?
Yeah, he was selling it to him. It was just
Yeah,
like
you gotta love when they turn on the people that
that's selling the weapon.
yeah, giving them the shit.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, the Jackal. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. But No Country for Old Men is I really want to rewatch that now. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. Uh oh, that reminds me. I started watching that like the Pale Blue Eye movie, but I didn't finish it. I don't know. For some reason, it's not really like it didn't really captivate me. Even though Christian Bale is kind of okay in it, but like the mystery part for some reason just doesn't like really capture me. And I think it's because of the fact that like one of your leads is Edgar Allan Poe, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I haven't really watched anything movie wise. That reminds me, I still got to check out that Chan Wook Park movie, his newest one. I'll let you know about that one next time we do podcast
Hell
in 4 weeks. Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Hopefully not.
yeah. But yeah, that's basically it for my week. So, do you need a break or do you want to get to the news?
I gotta take a break actually. It's gonna be longer than regular.
All right, that's no problem. We can take a break.
All right.
All right, see you in a bit. All right, we're back. We're back from our breakies. Yeah.
Really fast. Completely forgot about this. It's nothing game related or whatever. It's sport thing. I forgot. I watched the Philadelphia Eagles game. They won, and they're going to the motherfucking Super Bowl, baby. Oh yeah.
Gotta love the Philly Eagles.
I'm excited, man. It's well, it's not personally like a favorite team, but it's my friend's favorite team, so I was really excited for him. And also League of Legends Pro stuff is back, dude. So you should, esports, check it out. Cloud9 is 3-0. I watched the
So
game while I was eating.
this was something I was gonna mention. This fucking thumbnail is gonna look hilarious because it looks like I'm talking to somebody from Cloud9, like a representative.
You should
Uh
just like on the thumbnail, it should be like your face over your little icon, and you'd be like, "What? Like, wow!" And then pointing at it, like,
oh wait,
"I'm
hold on,
talking to
hold on.
Cloud9."
I was
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
all right, there you
Yeah.
go.
And then
I
put
got
like
the
a big
screenshot.
like orange and yellow blammo in the background. You know, it has to be colorful
Yeah,
so
yeah,
people like are attracted to it.
yeah. Oh, definitely, most definitely now.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the news. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? The stuff that we missed.
Hold on, I am horrible at clicking. Apparently, there we go. Looking for the topics.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's just start at the bottom. The Avengers.
All right, so are you avenging? You better not be, because
Anymore.
the servers are shutting down, motherfucker.
You know why this caught me so like
Uh-huh.
good, and the reason I posted it in there, it wasn't even because like, oh no, it's like like boohoo, the game's gone type of thing. It was just like the funny ass line they put, which is great. The Marvel
Marvel's
Avengers have disassembled, which is such a good fucking
It's
tag.
pretty good. It's from xputer.com.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, but the reason behind it is just kind of nutso, that the fact that like the was the lead developer was they found out that he had some racist tweets. So that's why he's stepping down. And it's like,
Whoa.
oh. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, basically Marvel's Avengers is being sunsetted.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
yeah, get all your cosmetics if you want, essentially. But I think there was something I saw recently that actually I think now the cosmetics are like they're becoming free.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of them have been free.
Okay. So there's that. And yeah, I think they were planning on another like another story thing for Ultron. Oh no, they were planning on doing that. According to this article, but uh they there's like a whole little topic thing about like unreleased content, and one of them being like an Ultron related thing. Uh and then another thing called patrol mode. Uh and some more characters are planned, such as Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. Uh Oh yeah, and Jane Foster. Yes, Jane Foster. Uh Shuri and Ironheart were also planned to be more characters in there.
Ironside.
Ironside. Uh but yeah, that's funny, but I mean, what? This game came out in 2020?
I mean, don't be racist. Let's be real here. Like, I'm not. I don't know, man. I don't know what the grounds of firing is and all this shit. But like, just don't be a shit person, man. And
Yeah,
like,
cuz like
let's just
the
have a
thing
cool space.
the thing that they're that yeah, says they unearthed racist tweets from this past November, stating that he will no longer be the studio spokesperson or communicating about the studio
Who
projects.
who was this guy? What's his name, real quick?
Brian Wagoner. Like wagon.
Oh shit!
Uh-huh.
I'm sure I heard the name because of this game, but why have I heard this name?
Some from somewhere else.
I feel like I've heard it from somewhere else. Wow, like 30 people pop up with that same name.
Brian Wagner. Wagoner or Wagner?
Is it Wagner?
Waggoner.
Oh fuck! Hold up. Yeah, spell it again for me. Wagg.
Ggoner.
Well, with that type of a name, I would have just assumed. Designer. Is he getting fired?
He stepped down.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just found his LinkedIn.
Yeah. So yeah, basically this is going away, but to be fair, out of Square Enix's like live service thing, it's not as bad as Babylon's Fall. Because I think what Babylon's Fall fucking
Is that the
died.
one where he was like stock trading?
No. Babylon's Fall was the platinum developed game that was live service, but only lasted like within a year.
Oh
it
yeah,
came
that wasn't
out.
even a year, was it? It was like
It was like a
6
couple
months,
months.
4
Yeah,
months.
yeah. It was like a couple months, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're shutting this shit down," because nobody was playing it. No money was being made for microtransactions, so
I
can't
mean, to be
really.
fair, when a game's bad, it's bad.
It was bad. It was bad because like there's a video that I watched. I gotta send it to you. I think it's like I think the guy who's named Power Pack. But he basically goes into the whole thing about how the game is like virtually impossible if you don't have people playing with you.
What the
Babylon's Fall.
Oh, Babylon. Okay, I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about
Avengers.
yeah,
Nah, man. They got
my bad.
Spider-Man in Avengers now. Does he play?
Booter.
Does he play good? I don't know. Haven't played the game since the demo.
Yeah, Wolverine didn't show up, so I don't care.
Yeah, that's true. They're only focusing on like the Disney Marvel verse.
Dude, it's so funny because like almost anything Marvel that comes out, people are like, "Oh my god!" And I'm always like, if I see Wolverine, I might buy it.
Is Wolverine in there? Yeah, buy. Big buy.
Dude, do you know? Do you know how fucking stoked I am that next year I get to touch the fucking video game with Wolverine in it from
Yeah.
fucking
Insomniac.
Insomnia? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I can't.
Are you excited for the next Deadpool movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. I forgot about that. Hey, he was it was such a good like little thing, man. Where he's just like, hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine again? He's like, yeah, whatever. I was like, yeah, dude. He's like, yeah, whatever. I was like, yes, do it, old fucking man, do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait either. Like, I'm very excited for that.
Dude, Wolverine is literally, yeah, you already know. Let's just go. Keep
I
going.
know. Okay, but yeah, but you know, who's super dead? The Avengers, from Square Enix.
Yeah, they're not coming back to play it again.
Never ever again. But even then, this game had like so many problems because of like content that people were asking for, and like they were just not pushing out. And then the whole. Do you remember the whole thing with Spider-Man? Like as to why, like, well, not even as to why, but like Spider-Man was supposed to be a pre-order thing for PlayStation players,
Yep.
and then months after the game's release, like there was nothing about Spider-Man until it finally released.
Yeah, it's a bad spot. Like, as far as exclusives, that's a bad one to have just been like, yeah, this is Sony exclusive. Because you know how many people want Spider Man.
Yeah. People love Spider-Man. Even the Xbox players loved the Spider-Man. So yeah, going down, never coming back. Speaking of something going down, Skull and Bones pre-orders have been refunded and no longer on sale in the PS store.
Oh my god, it's a sinking ship.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going down. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, it's going down.
Me matey.
Like a sinking ship. Yeah, fucking. I believe it's still it's still happening. Like it's no longer there. Because when you sent this, I went to go check, and it was like, yep, nothing, nothing for this thing. It said like, there was like no options available for it to pre-order. But
I wonder if in the Sony contract when you put something on the store, if it states in there like if you defer the release date too many times, we're allowed to just take it out the store.
I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact Sony and Microsoft hate doing refunds, so I think this is why they pulled it down so nobody could get more refunds. Or buy the game and then
right.
Yeah,
then refund it.
Yeah,
They didn't want to do another what the fuck that was that game?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, thank you.
Skull.
Hold on, I'm gonna see if it's up here or not.
Oh shit! Oh, drop my water bottle cap. Oh well.
This game still looks so bad, man. Like I don't know how people want
It
this
looks
shit.
rough. It still looks rough. The problem
Yeah,
is
store.
this game has been in development since like what, 2018, I think. Originally it was supposed to be like a spin-off from Assassin's Creed 4 and then just became its own thing, but yeah, the problem is that like the amount of delays for this thing is wild. I think somebody even put down that like this thing has been delayed almost longer than Duke Nukem Forever. And then that game came out and that game was a piece of shit. So, uh, but yeah, and I think right now might be the other longest thing is Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think that might be like the runner up. But yeah, this game is not looking too great. I don't know what the fuck's gonna go on from their side as well because they still owe money to like the Singaporean government. So there's that. Because of tax cuts and shit like that over in Singapore.
Yeah.
So good luck, Ubisoft. Good luck.
That's still wild to me that they had a deal with Singapore for a video game.
Yeah, certain like arts and stuff like that. Depending on which country you're in, you could get like tax cuts and shit like that. But yeah, because even then there was a thing that we talked about like in the other podcast in another episode that I think it's stated like specifically like they have to release the game in the last like the last time that they were planning on having it released, which was like a couple months ago, and still nothing. So yeah, they're not gonna do so well in the courts. And I guess like just speaking about Ubisoft, so there was a whole ordeal that happened with the CEO Yves Guillemot for a controversial statement / email that he sent out to his coworkers, basically because of what's happening over at Ubisoft, that they're not really striking any gold. Mr. Guillemot sent an email to workers basically saying the ball is in your court, which people did not take that too lightly, specifically Ubisoft Paris. Ubisoft Paris, because they announced that fuck it, motherfucker, we're going on strike. So they went on strike, and then I believe one of the organizers made a statement, saying that like it's unfair that he makes this email making it seem that like it's the developers' fault when these people that are above us have charge of all the money and all the money that we can use for specific games. So like as to reasons why some games don't come out the way they do, it's because of certain cuts that the higher ups make. So it's like it's not our fault. And then on top of that, their whole NFT strategy didn't lead them anywhere. So there is also that. Yeah, I think another thing was Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Just Dance 2023 underperformed. So that didn't do them any well either, and they canceled a bunch of projects, including the a team battle arena game and a Ghost Recon game called Ghost Recon Frontline, and the Splinter Cell VR game, which I didn't know got canceled. Because I remember the trailer for that, for the VR thing for Splinter Cell. And yeah, that shit got canceled. But yeah, essentially, Eves came out and made a public apology saying that he's like, I heard your So basically, his statement was, I heard your feedback, and I'm sorry I'm sorry this was perceived that way. Let's see. And basically wanted to make it a big kumbaya moment, saying that like I essentially need you guys, which obviously he does. So yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when you decide to say some stupid shit like that to your employees who are obviously working hard. But yep. I mean, it's good that Paris has Well, I don't think they even had a union. I think they just went on strike. They were like, "Fuck it," because they were so pissed off with that the ball is in your court shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Good for Ubisoft. Not looking good for their financials though, because they're probably gonna have some court shit later on because of Skull and Bones. But we'll see. And speaking of some painful shit, let's talk about Microsoft. Let's talk about some Microsoft stuff. So Microsoft has let's see, they have laid off 4.5% of their workforce. So basically around 10,000 people.
Yeah.
This happened a couple weeks back. They laid off people from a lot of their game studios and even in Microsoft themselves. People from Bethesda, the Coalition, and obviously the biggest one being 343. Um, and there was a news article from basically it had a statement from Phil Spencer talking about how uh, it was a painful moment for him to see the amount of people that were losing their jobs. And yeah, basically their whole explanation as to why they were letting people go is because of over hiring, which was the whole ordeal. And because of things happening now with stuff going up in price, they had to let some people go, which a lot of people are calling bullshit to that because a lot of other businesses were letting people go. And it's just believed that the higher ups are probably getting they want their bonuses at the end of the year. Uh, but the real reason we'll probably never know. Uh, and then this kind of leads into another weird aspect because as I was talking about Halo, literally the week that I was like, oh yeah, I played Halo 5, this news comes out. So I was like, oh, this is not looking good. And especially when it's 343 having a huge cut on people. Uh they had to come out with a statement over on Twitter saying that Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. Um which there was a video that came out recently by Young Yeah saying that like the situation looks a little dire uh because the head writer ever since like the first Halo, Joseph Staten, is basically leaving 343 to go back to Xbox Game Studio Publishing. So they need a new creative head. And the other thing from that Young Ye video was um essentially there's ideas of doing a reboot for Halo itself. So the fight is not over yet. uh yeah, but one of the people from Halo, basically the person who revitalized the Master Chief collection, what was his name? Uh mhm, I forget the gentleman's name because he essentially was the one that hold on. Okay, Pierre Heinz or Hints. Um he was someone that kind of brought the master. So if you don't know, the original release of the Master Chief collection was a mess. It had a lot of problems when it released. So this specific person, Pierre Hints, um is basically kind of taking charge of Halo as of right now and trying to lead it into a better direction. Um but yeah, it's not looking too great for Halo in general. Because I think another thing from one of like the leaks is that they're focusing on more multiplayer gameplay rather than single player stuff. So is Master Chief dead? Did he die in Halo Infinite?
He did.
Okay.
Did.
He died. Uh but yeah, it's unfortunate. And then you had, people who got fired coming out and basically stating that like the reason why like Halo Infinite was in a state that it was in was because of people higher up and because of the incompetence of people that were supposed to be the leadership just going into a completely bad direction. Yeah, it's unfortunate for Halo. But yeah, Joseph Staten, yeah, leaving 343. So they're gonna have to find a new creative head for that series. Yeah, unfortunate. Uh, and it was kind of crazy timing too, because we had uh the Microsoft developer direct, which basically showcased a couple games that are coming out this year and next year. No, actually all this year. Um, and I didn't send the list, but basically I'll just read off what was shown during the developer direct. You got Minecraft Legends, which is the tower defense Minecraft game, which looks kind of okay. Like, I don't know how that Minecraft Dungeons game is. Have you played it because you love the Diablo?
No.
Okay. And then we got more stuff for Forza, where they're making it really Forza-y, Forza Motorsport. Then I completely forget. I forget sometimes that fucking Elder Scrolls Online is a thing. So they're having a new expansion called Necrom. And then more stuff about Redfall. Redfall looks okay. Like, I'm not super hyped about it, but it looks all right. You know, I enjoyed Deathloop. I from what I played with Dishonored, I do enjoy that series as well. But Redfall looks pretty good. I don't know what your thoughts on Redfall is. You want to hunt
Uh,
vampires?
uh, no, I don't remember it honestly.
It's the vampire hunting one. No.
Hmm.
Okay. But the thing that was also part of the part of the decision making for my week as well as to like what to play next on stream is a little shadow drop called Hi-Fi Rush from Tango Gameworks, the people that made the Evil Within series. I hear that this game is fucking fantastic. I hear it's really good. I really want to check it out. But my thing is, I don't know whether or not I should do it on stream or if I should play it by myself, because this game does use licensed music, but there is a streamer option where you can take off the music, the licensed music. But I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on me if I want to listen to that licensed music or if I want to just go at it. But essentially, what they showed of that game was it looks really fun. It's basically a character action game. It's a character rhythm action game, which is wild. But I haven't played it yet, and I actually want to see how it does play. So yeah, that's what they showed at the developers direct, right after the news about fucking letting people go. So yeah, Microsoft. So what else we got? What else we got? Oh, speaking about firings, God, it was such a harsh week. Now that I'm looking at like all the news and stuff, it's such a harsh week. So this kind of hits a little bit for me, because I got into Giant Bomb like maybe 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and I kind of lost a little bit of interest in Giant Bomb, because a lot of people started leaving, specifically people that I was like, that I really enjoyed watching, specifically, Brad Shoemaker, Vinny Caravella, um, Alex Navarro, let's see, yeah, a lot of people were left. Giant Bomb, Abby Russell was another one. Like a lot of like people on Giant Bomb like were leaving, obviously to do like their own thing, but at the same time, in the specifics of Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker, and Vinny Caravella, they've been there since like the almost the beginning of Giant Bomb. But the reason why they left was because they just didn't want to deal with like the corporate stuff that was going on with their company. So at the time that they were leaving, they were actually being bought out by a different company, and this company specifically was Fandom. So if you don't know who Fandom is, you ever seen those wikis for like specific television shows or comic books or stuff like that?
Yeah.
They're the ones that head those. They're the ones that are the parent company of those websites. Um, so Fandom bought a lot of spots, specifically Giant Bomb, GameSpot, and Metacritic. And before you know it, they fucking started letting people go. It's not confirmed as to how many people they let go, but they let go of a lot of people. So with Giant Bomb, they had new people come in. Obviously, I think in the beginning of the Fandom stuff that was happening, uh, Jeff Gerstmann, who was the original creator of Giant Bomb, or like one of the co-leads or the co-founders, excuse me, because there was uh Ryan was one of the but yeah, Jeff Gerstmann, he's a very big name in like gaming journalism. He was leaving, and I there was a lot of suspicion as to why Jeff Gerstmann was leaving, because it's like, oh, one of the co founders is leaving. That's not looking good, and that's why obviously a lot of people were kind of left, stopped watching Giant Bomb, because it's like you're like the person that you were interested, that was there for years, is leaving. Um, and I found out that like now Jeff Gerstmann is doing like his own thing over on Twitch and on YouTube as well. He has a thing called the Jeff Gerstmann Show, and he does a podcast. And one of the episodes of the podcast, he basically explains that he was being fired by Fandom. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, and that essentially he was planning on leaving, but at the same time, Fandom was firing him. So he was like, "Fuck it, you're not firing me. I quit." So there was that. Um, and it's unfortunate, like I said, but as that was starting to happen, they got more people to come in and basically try to help Giant Bomb get its flow back. So they hired uh Voidburger, who is a very well known like YouTuber. She does like video essays and like specific video games that she enjoys. Um, as she was hired to be one of the editors, and also one of the personas in like whatever show they do, or like be on the podcast and things like that. Uh, they let her go. She was only there for like a year. Uh, and they also let go of somebody who's also been there for a good while at Giant Bomb, by the name of Jason A. Striker. But Jason was technically like, he was a little bit back and forth, because apparently he has health issues that he's been going through. So he was like very like on and off with like being on appearances with the podcast and things like that. Uh and they also fired uh fuck, I forget the guy's name, but basically a person who was like helping with like everything on Fandom. They let him go. Like he was doing like graphic design works and stuff like that, and like he was like in charge of a lot of things, but they let him go. So it's like, it's crazy to see that like people who had like very important jobs being let go by this. And there was a thing that I watched. I think it was a podcast from No Clip. Um, that it was a podcast of Voidburger being on there, talking about how basically she was just fired because she said it was like a weird experience, because of the fact that like she she was essentially in like a video call with like two other people who were like, she thought that she was gonna be fine, because literally as they were doing a show at Giant Bomb, was when they got an email saying it was urgent and they needed specific people to be on the video call. And then yeah, then they got fired, and she was like, it was just a bizarre moment of like, you're firing two editors out of the three from Giant Bomb. So one editor is just left. It's wild. It's very crazy, but the GameSpot stuff is also kind of nutso, and the stuff from Metacritic as well. But yeah, fandom's a really big problem. Uh oh, Justin Vachon, that's what his name is. He was a graphic designer for Giant Bomb, GameSpot, and Metacritic. He was also doing like I think like a guide, like TV guides, something as that as well. But yeah, it's fucking bad. But what was great is that Voidburger put up like a tweet There's a very famous tweet that I didn't know was a giant bomb gif. Uh, you know the blinking white guy?
Yeah,
That's from Giant Bomb.
they made it.
Huh?
They made it.
Yeah, somebody just took it and made it a gif.
Huh.
And that guy is Drew Scanlon. And it was funny because there is like a there's like a news story about him, and he talks about like it was just bizarre to see himself as a meme like all these years later. But then he talks about like what Giant Bomb was or like is, and he's like, yeah, he's like that was from like a game stream. Yeah, so Giant Bomb has been prolific. The whole thing with Jeff Gerstmann is such an interesting character because uh there was a whole thing where he used to work for GameSpot and he got fired because he gave a game a bad review, because at the same time GameSpot was getting money from the company to give good reviews, but Jeff Gerstmann was like, no, this game is dog shit. So he got fired because of that. And that's how he started Giant Bomb, was because of that firing. If they didn't fire him, he would, I don't know if he would still be at GameSpot, but like, yeah, that's how Giant Bomb was made, because of a firing of one man. Um, yeah,
So,
it's go ahead.
no, I said it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's such a weird one, but yeah, I feel really bad for Giant Bomb, because like it's for fucking two of the three video editors being let go. It's just wild because all that work is just set on one person, and that person being Jan Ochoa, which is like, it's wild. It's really weird, especially within like a year that Voidburger was there for Giant Bomb. So yeah, firings not fun, not fun. Uh, but I guess we can kind of get into some nice things. Um, so Invincible season 2 has been announced.
So 2023.
Oh God, sorry.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Uh, season 2 of Invincible has been announced for late 2023. So more or less, according to the Twitter account. Very excited for that. What was so funny was that like the little teaser thing was actually animated by a person who does who does porn, mostly like cartoon porn, but like
Yeah, but what?
yeah, I mean he's very good at editing. Not editing.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
He's like a lot of those not safe for work artists like doing animations are really good at animating, and a lot of people were super surprised by that. They're like, oh, this guy animated it, and it's like, yeah, he did, because he's really good at doing like anatomy, and also key art and shit like that. But yeah, Invincible season 2, very excited. And Jesus, it's crazy to think that like in the direction that Invincible goes in, it's like season 1 only scratched the surface. It is wild to think about that. But speaking of scratching the surface, what do you think about Nintendo, bro? Do you love Nintendo? Do you love the Switch? You better love the Switch, because Nintendo increases Switch production. Even though everybody's like, when's the next gen thing? They're like,
yeah,
no.
to be fair, with all the stuff coming out, and they're gonna want them.
They're gonna want more Switches.
Well, because of the what's it called? The release of the next Zelda.
Yeah, but they could always put like a backwards compatible new thing that runs
they
better.
Make money off of the material they've already bought, so that you can make more money.
No, they can put it on something else. They
No,
could put it. No, they could put it on the new Switch, on the Switch, on the Switch X.
They're making a Wii U too, and it's not compatible with the Wii U games.
No, I mean Breath of the Wild came out the same time as the Wii. Yeah, it was the last game, almost the last game for the Wii U, and it was the start of the Switch. They could do that. I mean, it was in development for a good bit, but they can do that. All right, I'll do it. Give me the money, Nintendo. But yeah, get ready for more Switches, when will be the next new thing? I don't know, because right now the Switch is kind of showing its age. It was a nice novelty at the beginning, but yeah, some of the games don't run particularly well on Switch, and it's starting to get a little harder because of the fact that like now the fucking Steam Deck is a thing. And I mean, the Steam Deck is like it's pretty expensive, and obviously the Switch has that difference of it being a lot cheaper. But yeah, and even then, like there are Switch emulators, so you can play Switch games on your Steam Deck. Yeah. But the biggest but um a game resurrected from the dead, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. What you know about that Grand Blue Fantasy?
This is the fighter, right?
Yes, this is a fighting game. So I was
Yeah.
very confused about this announcement because I thought it was an update. It's a sequel. I was about to pull the trigger on getting the game on PC, to see if like they would have an update for the rollback, but no, it's a sequel. So basically, for those that don't know, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus was a very well liked game within like the fighting game community. Like people thought it was really really fun, and it's by Arc System Works. But the issue was the game's online was really really bad because it used what was it? They used delay based netcode. That was the whole thing, and people were really hoping with like with Guilty Gear or like games like Blaze Blue and Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle that this game would get like a rollback thing, but that was not happening at all. And you know, because of the whole thing of the pandemic happening, uh the need for rollback was there. Like people wanted the rollback to be there. But now well, from a little developer showcase from Cygames, they announced Brand Blue, Jesus. They announced Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising and Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which is I believe their action adventure game based in the Grand Blue universe. So basically this sequel is going to include new mechanics, new stages, new characters, and rollback, obviously, and a new story. And what's neat is that they showed off that on the multiplayer, well, the multiplayer lobbies, they're essentially gonna have like a little Fall Guys mode, which is really funny. Cause like there's a video of like them playing like Fall Guys, like soccer or like little obstacle courses and stuff like that. It just looks really really weird. But yeah, this looks fun. I kind of want to play a little bit of BlazBlue just to see the mechanics, but obviously they're gonna do a mechanics overhaul for the next game. So yeah, good for BlazBlue. God damn it, for Grand Blue. Good for Grand Blue for coming back and actually getting that that rollback. And yeah, I guess a couple things that I just want to mention. James Gunn eventually James Gunn revealed his DC Chapter 1 of what he's planning for the DCU.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did. Did you see it?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Did you
So
link it?
I didn't. This was something that came like literally 2 days ago.
Okay, no, that's why I was wondering because I was like, if I missed it, it's my bad. I want to know.
Okay, so basically, this is what he announced for his Chapter 1. It's called Gods and Monsters. So the stuff that he announced is an animated series called Creature Commandos, which ironically enough, the animator that did that teaser thing of Invincible, the one I told you that did the NSFW stuff, is when they showed the picture of the Creature Commandos, it's the same artist. So that dude's getting work.
Okay.
Yeah, that dude's getting work. So yeah, Creature Commandos, a let's see, a spin-off show called Waller, based on Amanda Waller from Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. A Booster Gold uh series. So if you don't know Booster Gold, there you go, Booster Gold. Paradise Lost, which will be a Game of Thrones style story based in the land where Wonder Woman was born. And then an HBO show called Lanterns, which will essentially what he describes it as a True Detective, the show, type mystery, but with Green Lanterns.
Can you link this to me real quick?
Yeah, hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm gonna have to do it through my phone. It's gonna screw up the stuff. Oh, you could just check out. You could just type in James Gunn DC universe, and it should be like one of the top stories from The Ringer. I don't know if you got there yet, or I don't know if you're typing it down. But yeah, essentially that is his TV production stuff that he's planning on doing. Creature Commandos, Waller, Booster Gold, Paradise Lost, and Lanterns. As for his film stuff, are you ready for this? So his film stuff is going to be a Superman movie called Superman Legacy. And it's going to be the beginning of the DCU, according to James Gunn. So it's going to be, I guess, there's a lot of speculations that it might be just like Spider-Man Homecoming, where it's like we already established who Spider-Man is. We already get it, but we're going to get like some of the early years. But yeah, Superman Legacy is set to come out July 11th, 2025. And then another movie is going to be The Authority, which is going to focus on a group of superheroes who essentially are like the universe's like authority squad, according to James Gunn. Then we got, let's see, Brave and the Bold is a Batman film that will be focusing on Batman and his son Damian Wayne. Which will be, a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be God of War 2018, but with Batman.
Oh no.
Oh no. But it's going to be separate from like the other stuff that has already been established, because obviously we have the Joker 2 movie that's happening, and we have the sequel for Robert Pattinson's Batman. So those, according to James Gunn, are going to be its own separate universe. They're not going to be tied to his chapter stuff, like his plans for the DCU. Then after that we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is basically a much more melancholy tale of Supergirl after Krypton has been blown up. And then the last thing he announced was Swamp Thing, which is going to be the origins of Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing. So yeah, that's James Gunn's DCU cinematic. Well, yeah, it's DCU. Yeah, DCCU. EU. What the fuck is it? Anyways, it's a cinematic universe. DCU. Sure. I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested in the Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing movie. The other stuff actually seems pretty interesting. The TV show, things that he has here. Like, I'm really hoping it's kind of like True Detective, the Lanterns show. But yeah, I don't know. Anything on there that looks interesting to you?
Batman 2.
Batman 2, sure. Even though that's not part of this universe, but it's sure.
Well, they said it's coming out with him on it, so.
With who?
With Gunn around. They said it's still happening and all that, so I was like, yeah.
I mean, it's still happening, but I'm talking about this specific thing.
No, I don't care about DC except for Robert Pattinson. Is Wolverine coming?
Yes, Wolverine's gonna be in here. They got Hugh Jackman to play fucking Booster Gold. There you go. Happy?
All right, on my way. I'll see
All right.
y'all.
All right. Good. So yeah, that was just introduction to the chapter 1, the beginning of all this. So I mean, hell, I guess it has a direction. So gotta give him credit for actually putting it in a direction.
Yeah, hope it's good. I mean, probably not, but you know, hopefully.
Wow, you hate
I
James
mean,
Gunn?
I don't think James Gunn is going to single-handedly fix DC's
Confirmed.
problems.
Hates James Gunn.
A little
Uh,
bit.
yeah, like you said, just for me, it's like a wait and see kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
there is a lot of talk from this, and I'm going to assume that Warner Brothers is going to give, because that was the whole point of bringing him on here, is to give him creative freedom, and that is what he's doing, because I've never fucking heard of Creature Commandos or The Authority, so he's bringing out stuff that's just like he's interested in, obviously, because he loves comic books, or just like the weird stuff that exists within the DC universe, but like amplifying it, which I think is fine. Sure. I mean, like, fuck it. If fucking, I don't know. I thought Moon Knight was like the weirdest fucking character to bring out, and they fucking made a TV show based on that character. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you take it in a weirder direction, I feel like it's gonna be interesting, because obviously, if you've never heard about it, it's gonna be weird. Um, yeah, and just one final thing I just saw right here. And apparently, the Xbox 360 marketplace will close on May 2023.
Mm.
So you can't buy shit on your 360 anymore until May, essentially. And yeah, that's basically it. That's it for the news. Did you get anything from the news? Did you like?
What do you mean? Did I get anything?
Did you like the news?
Sorry.
All right, good to know. All right, with that, we're done. We're
I
done.
mean, I don't know, man. It was kind of nothing too great, I guess. I think the James Gunn stuff is probably like
The only thing that's not people getting fired.
the best positive out of this week.
out of the week before, I should say, because there was another thing about that Blizzard employee that I didn't put down. Did you hear about this one? There was a Blizzard employee who was like I think he was a lead developer, and essentially Blizzard wanted him to write a bad report on employees to meet a quota, and he refused, so they fired him.
Man, I really don't want to buy Diablo games anymore.
Man, Blizzard is making it really hard for me to buy Diablo.
No, to be fair, like when the whole sexual harassment thing came in, we actually had talked about it, and you were like, "Do you think you're gonna buy them?" And I'm like, honestly, it really makes you not want to fucking do anything.
Support
with the company,
it, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's like, I remember being little and like wanting to work with this company, bro, because like I felt like, you know, and I mean, like people, it doesn't matter where you find people, there's always going to be bad ones, right?
Yeah.
So like, I get that, but like, it's just there's so much bad happening there. It's so hard to just like be like, it's like getting hit when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
You get hit, you're like, oh shit, that hurt. You get hit again, you're like, oh shit, okay, maybe I don't do that. The third time you finally learn, don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's like finally just coming to the point where I'm like, okay, I just don't want to buy their games anymore. Like Diablo, I honestly think Diablo 4 is the last game.
It's the last thing. Hopefully it's at least a decent one, because if it's shit, then it's like, the fuck was all this effort of like trying to even make this thing. But I don't know, Diablo 4 even then felt like an apology kind of thing, because of the whole thing of like the sexual harassment, and like I think the stuff with what was it, Taiwan?
They put so much money into this game. There's no way they'd just leave it. Unless it was like literally a piece of crap that they wouldn't make money off of when they put it out, then yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing. I fucking closed the window on that. But Microsoft sent a shit, what was it? Uh shit. It was about the Activision Blizzard shit. I just remember now. I completely forgot. And I put it in our thing. Oh, okay, here we go. Microsoft has subpoenaed PlayStation because of their statement saying that
Oh yeah.
Call of Duty is going to affect competition. So yeah, they're asking Sony to show up to court, bring some evidence, bro. Uh,
They're like, say it to my face.
say it to my face, motherfucker. Yeah, yeah. Blizzard is making it tough. Blizzard is making it very tough to like them. Especially with that shit. Like, it's so bizarre. It's like, why can't you just let the workplace be fine? Because it's like, to lie about it makes it seem even worse. Or like trying to have it at a stance points being like, well, there's one bad employee. It's like, can it just be a workplace where like people are just working and like they're working well enough? You don't have to lie about like somebody not doing their job. It's so goofy. I think that's so stupid. But yeah, I mean, good for him. I guess he has the moral high ground to be like, nah, I'm not fucking doing that. That's stupid. Yeah, I forget the employee's name, but yeah, that was something that happened during the week as well. So yeah, man, what are you planning on playing? Are you excited for anything coming out in the future? Anything like that?
I really wanted to play the Hogwarts game, but
What are you? What are you, a turf? Did you support fucking J.K. Rowling?
so it actually has nothing to do with her.
Okay.
Um,
Game doesn't
which
look
like maybe that
interesting.
sounds mean, maybe it doesn't. I would still play it if I wanted to. It's not multiplayer, so
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
thought it was gonna be multiplayer.
I'm probably gonna wait until like a review comes out from places that I trust to see if it's actually decent. Because I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but like from what I've saw of it, you know, some of the gameplay stuff, it looks pretty interesting. But I'm kind of taking a stance point where like I'm not gonna stream it because I don't want to like support fucking J.K. Rowling's bullshit. That's just me. But I mean, yeah, I probably will buy it if it's like cheap, not like
Yeah.
MSRP. Because
I was gonna say, so I think when I'll probably get it and try it out, if I even at the eventually feel like it, I would just buy a used copy because somebody already bought it. Then she doesn't get the money, all that stuff.
yeah, I don't want to give it to her estate.
And GameStop will have it for $10 eventually.
Yeah, eventually. It's funny you mentioned that. Oh, that was also another thing. Fucking Hi-Fi Rush outsold Forspoken.
Yep.
That was another thing I forgot. Yeah. Forspoken's a wild one. Because I played the demo for it a little bit on my computer, and I'm like, it has problems. And I'm like, is it just me? And then Digital Foundry came out with a video basically stating that like, no, the game has like some weird like hitches, but it for some reason the game says it's fine. It's very bizarre. Yeah, Forspoken is I'm probably gonna wait till that game lowers, and I think the reason why people are like shitting on it a lot more, well, besides the dialogue, I mean, I don't really care for the dialogue as much. I haven't really gotten into the game. The only minor complaint I made about the dialogue is that she kind of like acts really mean to the cuff for no reason, but I guess it's because New York, ayo.
I like the dialogue actually.
I haven't watched anything more from the dialogue besides the shit that people were pointing out,
Can I
being
ruin
like,
it for you? Can I ruin the entire game for you?
"Go ahead. Are there dragons?"
The dragons die.
Oh my god, game ruined. Well, I guess I don't have to spend $70 now. uh, but what was it? Yeah, but like Hi-Fi Rush almost has the same thing where you have a character talking to himself most of the time, but being a real goof about things.
A goof.
A goof. A goof.
What a goober. He's silly.
But the game has gotten such high praise because I think obviously it is one of those like unexpected, like or really an unexpected gem to come out in fucking January. Uh, so yeah, Hi-Fi Rush good, Forspoken bad. But like I was mentioning before, I think the reason why people were shitting on it was because Square Enix has a really bad track record of providing enough support for PC ports of their games. They have a really, really bad track of fixing problems for PC ports. Because people talk about fucking they talk about Nier Automata, they talk about some of the Final Fantasy games that came out on PC, and that like once they throw them out there, Square Enix doesn't even bother to touch them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's why people are also shitting on it, because it's like, oh, this game is like, it's kind of broken, and like we know that we're not going to get any fixes for this. Like this is just how the game is going to be on PC. If they do fix it, that's great, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath because I didn't believe it at first, but then I played a little bit of Nier Automata on PC, and Nier Automata has so many fucking problems. It has a crazy amount of problems where I think somebody tried to mod it, but I think Square updated it to the point where the mod doesn't work. So so it's like, what the fuck do we do now? But there's like different workarounds and shit like that, but like it's like it shouldn't have that. It shouldn't have that where the fucking player base has to fix it for the company.
Yeah.
So
it's actually sad that like they would do that too.
yeah, it sucks because I was going to buy Forspoken on PC, but you know, I played the demo and I'm like, it's not really getting me, and then I played the demo on PC because that came out, and it's also not doing it for me because obviously with the performance problems. But like I said, I'll probably wait. If it gets fixed, that's great, then I can play it later on when it's actually fixed. But yeah, Forspoken's not really doing it for me. And it's funny enough too that I just remember this, Bayonetta 3 got so many fixes as well that I think now Bayonetta 3 is a completely different game from release. And it's I'm so curious. Like I really want
That's
to.
just fucking disappointing, bro.
I really want to. I feel bad for the people that played Bayonetta 3 because it's like it's a pretty good game, but it's like it's not it though. Like people were expecting like the second coming of Christ for Bayonetta 3, but it's not really it. And apparently the story ends atrociously, and I'm so curious to see why it ends so badly. Yeah, man, that's how it be for gaming sometimes. So yeah. I besides Hogwarts, anything else for you, or that's basically it?
That's it.
Okay. I guess for me then, yeah, I guess Hogwarts. I'm probably gonna play more. I'm probably gonna try to finish Diablo 2, and then read the book. And I do want to play Hi-Fi Rush, but I'm so mixed right now on like if I should stream it or play it by myself. Yeah, I'm very mixed on that. But I guess later tonight I will be playing Dead Space remake. So
Oh really?
I guess, yeah. Why
Stream?
not? Huh? Yeah. I'll probably,
Okay, cool. Because I want to see that. That's why I was asking.
I'll probably be streaming it, bro. I want to see the limbs get cut.
I still have my original Dead Space for PS3.
Same, bro.
Because
got-
I can't like buy
Oh, God.
what's it called, the remaster currently.
On
I was thinking
PlayStation?
about going back. Yeah. I don't want to waste the money right now.
Wow. You
I was
hate
thinking about
Dead
going back and playing the
Space.
well, because it's gonna get discounted. It's a remake. It's
true.
not gonna like sell, I think, as dominantly as it did
It's selling pretty well, actually. Which is
before. No, I'm
surprising.
not saying it's not gonna sell well. I just don't think it's gonna sell again. Like I feel like remakes tend to make more, right? Like this is a remake. It's not a remaster. My bad.
Yeah, it's a remake.
So yeah, but it's still gonna get hit by a fucking price.
I'm in a weird spot
at some point.
I'm in a weird spot because like I keep seeing the argument that like Dead Space didn't need a remake, and I'm like, yeah, it's actually kind of true. It didn't really need a remake. It was actually a good game on its own. But
Visually though, it's gonna look so much better.
Visually, it looks very different, and they're taking a very different direction with Isaac as well. Because when I was testing it out to see if like the settings were all right. I'm not gonna ruin it, but like, okay, I guess I can ruin it
I'll
because
just check it. I'll just check it out. I'll just
okay,
check it
okay,
out when you
okay,
see
okay. I'll ruin it now. No, I'm kidding. But
it. Everyone's dead. Ah!
Isaac has been a necromorph the entire time. Dead Space.
Nope. Do you know how mad I'd be?
He was a necromorph the entire time. Oh man, but
The helmet opens up. He's like, I'd be like, oh, okay.
that's pretty good.
It's EA, right?
Yeah, it's EA.
Yeah, they know how to ruin fucking everything. Don't worry.
But here's the thing: is like this kind of leads into a whole new path for Dead Space because it's like you could, I guess, remake 2 if you wanted to, but I feel like 2 itself is a perfect game. But like if they were to continue down the line of remakes like Resident Evil has done, which oh my god, that's something I forgot to talk about. But like, they showed some screenshots for RE4 remake, and it looks really good. And also some gameplay stuff, and it looks really fucking good. I'm very excited.
That's one that I do want to get like day one.
Oh my god, you're not.
Is it out already?
No, it's coming out March. Is it fucking March? It's coming out. Oh fuck, I gotta pre-order that shit. Because RE4 was the first Resident Evil game I ever played, so and it was I really fucking love that game. But yeah, RE4 looks amazing. So like I said, if Dead Space continues the route like Resident Evil has, and they remake 2, this gives them a chance to remake 3 because 3 had so many development problems that's why 3 came out the way it did. I completely forgot that 3's true ending is a fucking DLC thing that you had to pay for. And how it ends kind of shittily because there was plans to make a Dead Space 4, but then they dissolved Visceral. So there was never a chance for Dead Space 4.
Yeah.
Do you remember how Dead Space 3 ended?
I didn't play it.
Do you want me to tell you how it ends?
No.
Okay, I guess I'll stream Dead Space 3. That's the only Dead Space I haven't streamed. Because I was
That's
hoping...
the only one I didn't play, so I'll probably play it at some point. I think I actually have the copy of it.
If you have the copy, I mean, we could play together.
Is it dual?
Yes, it's co-op. It's co-op, baby. It's also on PC as well. I don't know what the requirements are for it, but like you can also play co-op on PC. I don't know if the DLC's true ending is there. I think it actually is. I'd have to check. But yeah, that's the only Dead Space I haven't like played in co-op or played on stream because I played 1 and 2 on stream. And 3 is weird because like it's I think I liked it because the one gameplay difference that it has from the rest is that you're able to customize your guns. That's like the only like new thing that they added. But yeah, I'll probably be streaming some Dead Space remake, and then more Lightning Returns because God's plan. God's plan. God's plan. Yep. That's it. All right. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.